This man right here is off to a sluggish start. That man's off to a terrific start.
Derek Lowe won his fifth last night. First pitch from Pelfrey in for a strike. Kelly Johnson hitting just .242, but he's picked it up. Couple of hits last night. He has a 5-game hitting streak going. 1-1 to Johnson with Yunel Escobar and Chipper Jones to follow in the opening inning. Foul back, and it's 1-2.
Good cut by Johnson right there. Good fastball to hit. He had a rip just underneath.
Little tail on it, though. Nice movement towards the outside part of the plate. Kind of windy tonight, cold.
Wind is blowing in, which is rarely done this year. Just inside 2-2 for the most part. The prevailing wind the first 6 weeks of the season has been from the west and the southwest blowing out. Tonight it's coming in from the northeast at about 15 miles an hour. And that means the wind blowing in as Johnson takes a call, third strike, and Pelfrey, who had not struck out a batter in either of his last 2 starts, fans the first man to face him.
Well, this is that nice dot, true fastball that he throws on the inside corner to the left-handers. We saw him against Philadelphia doing that same thing. That big, nice, strong, powerful motion by Pelfrey.
Pelfrey had gone 76 batters in a row without a strikeout. It was the 4th longest such streak in Mets history. And here he fans the first man tonight.
It's interesting, right? Alarming. 14 walks and now 7 punch-outs. That's almost upside down.
Here's Yunel Escobar, and he takes a strike. I mean, Pelfrey's not going to be a big strikeout guy. He's more of a ground ball pitcher, but you expect more than 6 strikeouts in 28 innings, which is what he had coming in.
Well, he's going to strike out more guys as his breaking pitches get better and better. That'll be the key. Escobar looks like that wind is blowing something in his eye. People at home, it's supposed to be the other way around. 7 walks and 14 Ks.
And that sinker bounced foul, and quickly it's 0-2 to Escobar. And Pelfrey is right. He'll get a lot of round balls, foul balls, just like that.
Well, he's murderous on right-hand hitters. No hitter likes that boring, sinking fastball, but with velocity, which Mike does have, and it's a heavy ball that he throws also. So on a night like this where it's a little bit chilly, gets in your pots and pans, that can sting.
1-2 to Escobar. Struck him out. How about that? Back-to-back strikeouts for Pelfrey to start the night after going 2 starts without a single one.
Both strikeouts inside, Ronnie.
Good swing. Good pitch. Right on the inside corner. He's got some good life down.
Well, the fans remember this guy. Chipper Jones, who loved playing at Shea, gets his first at bat at Citi Field. And he takes ball 1. Last year's National League batting champion. He hit .364. Already has a home run against the Mets this season, 40 for his career, and he grounds one to David Wright and makes a nice pick on the backhand and throws out Chipper as Tatis had to stretch for it to end the inning. Pelfrey with a couple of punch-outs. Nothing across. Mets come up with no score. Alex Cora gets a start at second base. Daniel Murphy moves into the 3-hole for the 3rd time this year, with Carlos Delgado again out of the lineup. Another start at first base for Tatis. 2nd straight start for Jeremy Reed, and Omar Santos keeps getting the playing time because he keeps producing 2 more RBIs last night.
Well, Jair Jurgens is one of the best young right-handers in baseball. Last year led the Braves in wins, starts, inning pitched, and strikeouts. 13-10 last year. It's only 3-2 this year, but look at that great ERA. He is their Santana, not getting a lot of run support.
5th in the National League in ERA at 2.01. Jose Reyes leads off and takes high from Jurgens. Jose 0 for 3 last night. Hit the ball hard a couple of times, but with no luck. At 269 for the year. And the corners come in against Jose. Interesting. Some teams will leave their first baseman back against Reyes because he generally does not drag that bunt to the first base side. But here Kochman in, as well as Chipper Jones.
And Johnson coming in a little bit now, backing up.
Good pitch inside. Jose doesn't really drag a whole lot anyway. You know, he swings the bat, but you've got to respect the fact that he could drop one down, and it's so critical to keep him off the bases.
Alex Cora on deck, then Daniel Murphy, and Reyes takes the breaking ball down. 2-2.
Calvary's coming early today.
23-year-old Jair Jurgens, a native of Curacao. Ooh. In there for a call, strike 3. Fastball gets Reyes looking. 1 away.
Paint.
Well, he pitched him in with a fastball, curveball down, and then went away with this fastball.
And the defense for the Bravos, young Jordan Schaefer out there in center field. You can see Casey Kochman has not made an error. He's not a great first baseman. He is a journeyman first baseman, but he obviously, without making any errors this season, he whatever chances he has, he's sure-handed.
Now Alex Cora getting his 7th start of the year, and he takes a fastball for a strike. Cora's been doing a very nice job off the bench. 33 at bats. He's hitting .333 for the season. And that fastball takes the inside corner, and it's 0-2.
It's so nice to see 2 pitchers out there that come out aggressively attacking hitters, throwing strikes, Ronnie.
Yeah. Inside, too.
Toward shortstop. Escobar on the backhand. And a long throw just in time to get Cora for the 2nd out. Escobar hopping awkwardly toward that.
Yeah, it was like he was indecisive whether to get in front. He could have got in front of it, and he kind of got caught in between, decided to play the backhand, and then he showed off that big arm.
It's interesting, Keith. That play used to be made where the shortstop would run around it and have his momentum going to first base to make the throw, but almost all the young shortstops now field it on the backhand.
Well, here's Daniel Murphy hitting 3rd.
He's hit his first run of the year, just 1 for his last 15. Grounded out 4 times last night against Derek Lowe and company. And he takes a fastball, another first pitch strike for Jurgens. Jair Jurgens, who grew up in Curacao when he was 6 years old. He was a bat boy on a youth league team that featured Andrew Jones. So he was born to be a Brave. 1-1 to Murphy.
You know, Murphy, for someone that's in a little bit of a tailspin, you know, he's called a slight drought. He's still very disciplined, where you might see a lot of young hitters get anxious. You still see him stay disciplined.
Breaking ball hit toward the left field line, and that goes foul.
And the word's out on him. You know, he waits to the last minute, and it doesn't take long, Ronnie, to get around the league that he goes the other way, and you've got to pitch him in. Either that or pitch him away and play him away.
Yeah.
And I've never bought into that theory, have you? If you're going to pitch into a hitter's strength, you know, pitch him away, play him away, it better be a guy that's a paying hitter.
Yeah, it can't be a guy with any pop.
He's been a very good 2-strike hitter this year. And Murphy hits this one to short for Escobar. Smoothly to this one, throws on Murphy, and Jurgens sets the Mets down 1-2-3. So both pitchers off to a good start. We head for the 2nd. Mets and Braves, no score. Okay.
Barely.
Garrett Anderson leads off the second inning, takes a strike. Anderson came back last week off a stint on the disabled list with a quad injury and has not quite gotten it going this year. Fouled away. You know, last night in the seventh inning, we talked quite a bit about Jerry Manuel's selection of relief pitchers and how he used his bullpen, taking Santana out, taking Parnell out. And the thing we questioned most was the fact that he left Pedro Feliciano in to face Matt Diaz. And Jerry was asked about that today, and he said that the reason he didn't make a change is because he feared Garrett Anderson coming up if he brought in Brian Stokes.
He didn't like the matchup with Stokes and Garrett Anderson. Plus, he felt like Stokes is not, he's the long man right now, and he wasn't in a position right now yet to pitch under that kind of duress, I guess you would call it.
And it's interesting, too, because last year Stokes was the guy that Jerry brought in late with men on base on a consistent basis down the wire.
Anderson hits it past the mound. Reyes with plenty of time, and that's the first out. So 2 strikeouts, 2 groundouts for Pelfrey among the first 4 hitters.
Well, you never want to put this hand out there, Keith, but it's just a natural reaction by these pitchers. Catches the end of your fingers, you can be done for a month.
Fortunately, he didn't come close.
Yeah. Well, usually they don't, which is a good thing.
So 1 out and nobody on. Here's Brian McCann. Ball 1 to McCann. McCann 1 for 5 last night. He lines this one the other way, and he has the first hit of the game.
Beautiful hitting.
His double last night in the 9th inning was his 500th hit, and this is what makes him such an offensive threat. We talked a lot about his ability to go the other way. We talked a lot about, his glasses and everything last night. What we didn't talk about is that he's one of the best young offensive catchers in the game.
Well, over the last 4 years, Brian McCann has more home runs, more RBIs, and more extra base hits than any catcher in baseball. Here's Casey Kochman.
Red hot. Casey Kochman
had a big hit last night to break the game open. A 2-run single off Feliciano after Diaz had given the Braves the lead. Kochman, in the 6 games on this road trip, has driven in 10 runs. Pelfrey's punch-outs, they came prepared. They could have been empty tonight. Kochman lifts one to right. Reed started back, now racing on to make the play. Jeremy Reed's first step was back, and there was a lot of real estate to cover. Fortunately for him, there was a lot of air under that ball as well. 2 out.
Well, the wind is blowing in from right, but you've got the swirls you got to deal with. And yes, he ran a long way for that ball, but he puts it away.
So 2 out. McCann still at first, and here's Jeff Francoeur. Francoeur 1 for 4 last night, drove in a run, hitting .271 on the year. There goes the runner. The pitch high. Santos is throwing plenty of time, and McCann, who rarely runs, is thrown out. It was odd. That'll do it for the Braves in the top of the second. Santos throws out another one. 2-4 on the caught stealing to end the inning. Well, it's a part of a new SNY campaign. The guys in the collectible store. By the way, did you notice in those spots that they misspelled collectible?
Yes.
I mean, it's just one of those nice little touches they've got.
Bloopers.
That's right.
Of course. And just to show you two guys who don't know anything about sports can open up a New York sports store.
Well, the key is that they got the real actor in this booth to do the spot, because it'd be tough, you and I.
Now, wait a second. You've got some acting chops.
I really don't. My lines were dubbed, and I didn't say a thing. So, no acting chops. I stood still for two seconds.
You look good. 2-1 to Beltran, leading off the home second. Well, it all is to emphasize SNY's commitment to all things New York sports. And where do you start other than with Keith?
That's right.
Oh, you start with SNY.
No, I think you start with you.
3-1 now to Beltran. Second in the National League in batting behind Joey Votto. Beltran at .370 for the year. Votto and the Reds off to a terrific start this year. 3-1 from Jurgens. Bounce to the right side, and Kochman is there. So Jurgens has retired the first 4.
By the way, the Mets are a little responsible for the hot start by Joey Votto.
That's true.
Boy, he had a good series up in Cincinnati against the Metsies.
Here's David Wright. David had cleanup last night, back in the 5-hole tonight.
He's cutting down those strikeouts. He got off to that horrible start. I can't really say horrible start, because when someone's off to a bad start, they're hitting, a buck and change. But, David was hovering around 300, and so you can't say it was just brutal.
It's in 311. Had a couple of hits last night. The strikeout total is still high. He has 36 strikeouts. That's tied for third in the league, but he has slowed down that pace over the last week.
And that's the pitch that's been giving him trouble. And that's not so much that one. The first one was thrown up and in by him. This one had a little belt high. You see he has every intent of going the other way on that pitch. And I see they want the fastball up.
Jurgens ahead 0-2. And David lifts one down the right field line. Frank Kerr moving over, but runs out of room.
There wasn't a whole lot of room at Shea, was there, Gary, down the right field, left field line?
Well, the thing about Shea is that the portion of the corners where the space diminished was smaller. In other words, here the stands come out much closer to home plate than they did at Shea.
But also you had the area down the line inside that 335 where you could reach over and make a catch.
Right.
Now it goes right into the stands.
At that the grassy knoll.
There we go.
Second spitter.
Did you never venture down into the corners when you were playing at Shea?
Not really. I had no interest.
Only with the baseball for a double.
You must have played some outfield in your life, right?
Not as a Met.
Hit hard and a base hit for David Wright. And David behind in the count as the Mets' first hit of the game.
Well, the pitch down the strike zone and a breaking ball. Where earlier David was out in front, he's still pulling a little bit too much, but he's waiting longer now, and he's much more of a threat. Obviously, he's hitting over 300.
So 1 out and 1 on, and now Fernando Tatis. Look at the numbers on Fernando. He has just been raging hot over the last 12 games. He's hitting .421. And he has now gone 41 plate appearances without a strikeout, which is the longest current streak in the major leagues. And I don't know about you guys, but to me that's almost shocking for a guy like Tatis to have that kind of streak without a strikeout.
Well, when he was having his good years, he had some 120, 130 strikeout seasons.
I think he's a better hitter now than he's ever been.
I agree.
Well, he's using the whole field more. There's no question about that.
Oh, good breaking ball. You see those numbers right there.
Especially with 2 strikes, he's been going the other way, hasn't he, Gary? A better percentage this year.
3 of his 7 2-strike hits have gone to right field.
He likes to look middle in for a strike or two and then go the other way.
Well, I think it's a given that this entire team has done a better job of taking it the other way, and the proof is in the pudding. The Mets now have the highest team batting average in the National League. They're up to 288 as a team coming into tonight. Right at first and 1 out. 1-1 to Tatis with Jeremy Reed on deck. And that just misses. 2-1.
They've also got an excellent team on base percentage, which starting tonight, there's Jeremy Reed at 368, which for a team, that's outstanding.
Second in the league. And here's one more note about the Mets offense. The Mets hitters have struck out fewer times than any team in the National League. So they're putting the ball in play and they're getting good results. Too high, and it's 3-1 to Tatis.
You know, all that stuff is good, but even the Dodgers, who've played a couple more games and are probably the class of the league right now, they've scored 40 more runs. So, you know, that's the bottom line. At some point, all of that great averages need to produce runs.
And part of that is the Mets have not hit for much power. They're third from the bottom in home runs, and that's certainly a factor. 3-1, and it's on the outside corner as Jurgens just been marvelous at painting. 3-2 to Tatis.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what effect being Manny-less is going to do for those Dodgers too offensively.
Well, certainly having Juan Pierre is not the same as having Manny Ramirez in the lineup.
If there ever was a time to run a guy, it would be now, right? 41 straight at bats.
If he's not striking out, you might as well run. But he does strike out here. Wright on the move, and he is tagged out. Striking out, double play ends the inning.
Wow.
Second base umpire Tim McClellan hesitated on the call, but said that Johnson got him on the back before David got the hand in, and that's a terrible, terrible call. I mean, that wasn't even close. But the inning is over. Never got to the bag with that left hand.
It was called a skate save here.
Well, Keith, this is what you can do, right? If you are a second baseman or a shortstop and you know that the runner's going to slide head first.
Yep. Slide feet first, and those spikes will put a hurt on you.
Now, when you guys played, did middle infielders block the bag with their foot like that?
Once. Because after they do it, if David gets on base again and say it's kind of a double play situation, you make sure that he doesn't block that bag anymore.
I think you get there faster, too, feet first, Gary. You know, we always talk about the guys diving, running to first base and sliding head first in, and you say, why are you doing that? I think when you go feet first, you get there faster.
First base, you've got the option of running through the bag, which is clearly the fastest way of getting there.
But guys really don't have 2 or 3 different slides. They have one slide. they're either a head first guy or they're a feet first guy. You don't see a lot of guys doing both.
You have more chances of getting hurt too on the slide feet with your fingers.
Well, you certainly don't ever want to slide head first on the home plate.
No.
So you have to know how to go feet first there as Frank Kerr is down swinging, and Pelfrey has his third strikeout through the first 7 batters. What's gotten into Mr. Pelfrey?
Well, it's 9 for the year now.
And another swing and miss.
He did not have a single swing and miss in his start against the Phillies in 7 innings last Thursday.
It's 105 pitches.
So 1 out and nobody on, and now a guy who swings and misses a lot, Jordan Schaefer, who's struck out more than anybody in the league.
Boy, he's been struggling.
19 strikeouts in the last 8 games, including 1 last night for Mr. Schaefer. We notice Schaefer.
Well, we'll do a little lip reading here. Never got to the bag.
Tim McClellan explaining to Jerry Manuel why he called David Wright out, and it looked like Tim got the call right.
He did get the call right.
To his credit. 3-0 to Schaefer. Now Pelfrey behind 3-0, and he throws a strike to Schaefer.
Perfect block. So.
And Schaefer draws a walk. First given up by Pelfrey. Schaefer's had such an odd rookie year, hasn't he? He's struck out so many times, but he's also walked a ton.
Yes.
He has, 10 or 12 more walks than the next closest rookie.
24 for the year. That's 5th in the National League. So 1 out and 1 on. Now Jurgens will be up there to punt. Not a very good hitter. 1 for 12 this year, but has a couple of sacrifices.
Good hit and run guy, too. Goes the other way naturally. You're choking up on that bat, isn't he? Gosh, that's a big choke up.
We've seen that already, haven't we? That Mike Pelfrey has a very good move to first base for a 6'7" pitcher.
You see the defense there shading him to the right. He is an opposite field hitter. You see the outfield, Beltran shaded way over.
Bunted back to Pelfrey. Will go to first with it. 1-4 on the sacrifice, moving Schaefer to second. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Budweiser, the great American lager. So now Kelly Johnson with a runner in scoring position and 2 outs. Scoreless game in the 3rd. Johnson went down looking his first time up.
RBI situations. He loves to jump on that first pitch, this Kelly Johnson.
He struggled against the righties this year. A low ball hitter. His problem, Kelly's problem, is he tends to pull a little bit too much, gets himself in trouble. I think all hitters are that way. You see they're pretty much straight up on the outfield defense.
Pelfrey concentrating on working a little more inside against the lefties.
But we've seen that a lot this year.
Still been a struggle for him, especially in his last start. Ryan Howard hit an opposite field double and then a long home run against him. So Escobar on deck. Of course, Howard can do that against just about anybody. And Johnson shoots one the other way foul, 1-2.
Well, both these pitchers outstanding last season, though. Pelfrey over 200 innings, only gave up 12 home runs. Jair Jurgens in his rookie season, full rookie season, only gave up 11 home runs, 31 starts.
Keep that ball down and good things can happen. 1-2 to Johnson, up and away, and it's 2-2. Kelly Johnson now in his 3rd year as the regular second baseman for the Braves, after beginning his major league career as an outfielder. Two from Pelfrey. Popped it up into left field for Daniel Murphy. And so Pelfrey with a rare fly ball out gets Johnson to get through the top of the 3rd. Jeremy Reed leads off the bottom of the 3rd, still no score. AT&T switched to the nation's fastest 3G network. Your world delivered. Jair Jurgens topping out at 93, Pelfrey at 91. Jeremy Reed leads off the bottom of the third. Reed had a couple of hits, a single and a double last night, and he makes his second straight start in right field, which is good for Jeremy, not so good for Ryan Church, who continues to see his playing time diminish.
Well, I was just looking at the schedule. So there's a left-hander, Jojo Reyes, going for Atlanta tomorrow. Jonathan Sanchez starts the first game on Thursday night. Then, of course, Lincecum, so he gets that fine duty going up against Lincecum. And then the big unit pitchers on Saturday.
Another lefty. So that's all of a sudden the Mets facing a spate of lefties after Church sits against a couple of right-handers. Now Jurgens behind on Reed 3-0 with Omir Santos on deck. There's a strike, but you know, Delgado's out. We don't know how long he's going to be out. There seemed to be no progress in terms of the way his hip was feeling today, and there's every reason to think that Delgado might wind up on the disabled list as Reed rips one down the right field line, a foul. 3-2.
Well, the hip is bad enough that Jerry has said that Carlos is not going to be available tonight.
And did also say in his pregame interview that the DL was a possibility, and so that must really be hurting him. And that's a bat that's irreplaceable in that Met lineup.
What it means is a lot of machinations as far as putting together your outfield and first base alignment on a nightly basis. 3-2, and Reed goes down swinging at the high fastball. That's the third strikeout for Jair Jurgens. I asked Jerry tonight, as you look at that last pitch from Jurgens, who his best defensive first baseman was, and he surprised me when he said Tatis. I thought he'd say Alex Cora.
Alex Cora, right? Who can has the best hands probably of all the infielders, and probably can play anywhere.
But Jerry said he hadn't really seen Cora play first base, that he's heard he plays first base well. Here's Santos. Let me ask you this, because with Tatis and with Cora, you get guys who are of relatively small stature at first base. How much does that matter?
I don't think it matters that much if you have to have a tall guy.
Santos over the bag. Chipper Jones from his knees. The sidearm throw right on target. Nicely done by Chipper Jones. After hurting that elbow, he had to let it loose from his knees and throws out Santos.
Well, beautiful backhand, and the tough part of the play is the throw. And boy, from his knees, right on the money. Beautiful play by Chipper.
And that's a guy who watched the game last night. A lot of times you get a ground ball from a catcher, you stand up and make the throw. He saw Santos as pretty good runner and had to make a quicker play.
Well, you know, Gary, getting back to your point about having someone tall over there, you know, Dick Stewart was tall, and Dick Stewart was Dr. Strangeglove. You know, it was no consolation for the fielders to have Dick Stewart over there. I think it all depends on the glove. I mean, you've had a lot of great fielders that weren't tall. Wes Parker wasn't a tall guy.
All things being equal, though, you want your fielder, I would think your first baseman to be a little taller.
Looking for Stretch McCovey.
What kind of fielder was Stretch? Never got to watch him play.
Stretch was okay.
Yeah?
But Stretch had the bad knees, couldn't move around too well. But whatever he can get to, he was a decent first baseman.
Late swing by Pelfrey, who has one hit this year.
Wes Parker was a good fielder. I heard, I never saw him play, of course. Bill White was supposed to be an excellent fielding first baseman.
Bill White was the one that my father had me watch.
Vic Power had a great reputation.
Vic Power, you took the words. There's another guy that wasn't of tall stature.
In 1999, you were talking about it before, Gary. They had a pretty good infield here, and John Olerud was as good as they get.
He's 6'5" first baseman.
John was a very good fielder.
Breaking ball right back to Jurgens, who snatches it to end the inning. So Jurgens works to the minimum over the first 3 innings, same as Derek Lowe did last night. Pitchers duel developing again. Mike Pelfrey and Jair Jurgens each have allowed only one hit over the first 3 innings. Yunel Escobar, Chipper Jones, and Garrett Anderson up for the Braves in the 4th. Escobar struck out his first time up, one of 3 strikeouts through the first 3 innings for Pelfrey, to win his last 2 starts without a single strikeout. And Escobar fouls one at the plate. Mets have been getting fine starting pitching every day. They've gone 7-1 over their last 8 games, and the starters' earned run average in those 8 games, 2.13.
There's the difference right there, Garrett. You had Maine and Pelfrey, who kind of got off to shaky starts, their first 2 or 3 starts, and now all of a sudden the rotation, everybody's pitching well.
Toward the hole, Reyes on the backhand, the long throw to get his opposite number, Escobar, for the first out. So 1 away. Some biographical information on Mike Pelfrey, who was born in Ohio but grew up in Wichita, Kansas. And during the offseason, Kevin Burkhardt headed out to Wichita, and he talked with Mike's high school coach, Joe Auer, about his first impressions of Pelfrey.
He was a big kid with a strong arm, but with no idea how to pitch. And, you know, the first day of practice, he had an older brother that played here, so Mike had been to a few of our practices when he was younger. But the first day of practice, watching Mike play long catch and getting further away than anybody else was getting, it kind of caught our eye right away. This kid's pretty special as far as his arm strength is concerned, but he had no idea how to pitch.
Well, he's learned a little bit since then.
Yes, he has.
That's the same old story. When you find some raw athlete
diamond
out
in the
there,
rough, right?
diamond in the rough, they don't know how to do it, don't know what they're doing, and then he just got the tools.
Whereas Mike went on to pitch at Wichita State. Mets drafted him in the first round of 2005, and he got to the big leagues in a very large hurry. Chipper Jones, a 1-out single. Here's Garrett Anderson, and he takes a strike.
Well, I always thought that Mike took a beating. Let me tell you.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, he took a beating like no one I've seen in my 17 years, and even up in the booth. And I just thought, gosh, they've got to send him down. I was really worried about him losing his confidence. But, boy, I'll tell you what, he's the stronger for it. He persevered through, I mean, as tough a times as this game can put on you, he went through it.
You learned he has a lot of insides.
Well, he won his first 2 decisions as a Met. In fact, he won his debut. The Mets scored 17 runs for him that first game against Florida. As Anderson checks the swing and takes a strike, but he lost his last decision in 06 and then his first 7 decisions in 07 and went back to the minor leagues. So he lost 8 straight decisions, and then last year he began the year after winning his first 2. He lost 6 in a row and was able to bounce back from that and have a winning season.
Well, he was a big part of the Met turnaround last year. Please, I mean, he just was night and day. And you remember, Gary, Ronnie, we were all here. That look on his face when he was getting his fanny kicked, pretty much. And now look at him. He's like a seasoned veteran. It's just it's night and day. It's one of the great joys up here in the booth to watch the progression of the young kids as they come up from the minor leagues and progress in the big leagues.
Total coincidence, I'm sure, but it started to turn around for Mike last year when he got rid of that mouthpiece.
That's right.
Just off the plate to Anderson, 2-2.
Well, you know, he's starting to change some things up. You can see in May, last year, but he had never won a game in May until this year, and he's won 2 now, and he's got his career numbers over 500, 2 games over 500.
22-20 now for his career after going 13-11 last year.
He went 11-2 there in the middle of the season. June, July, August.
Well, even before that, we saw that sign. Remember the game we did from the upper deck at Shea, and he pitched 6 no-hit innings against Washington. There's Mike, the basketball player.
I bet you he was the center.
6'7". Two and 2 to Garrett Anderson, and he lifts this one to center field. Beltran got a late start, now charging hard, and it falls. Boy, we've seen that a couple of times. Beltran misjudging balls in the twilight, and that one falls in for a Garrett Anderson hit.
Well, he broke back, and it's just too late. And if anybody can make up for it, Carlos can. And you see right there, he didn't break back that much. It just, he misjudged how deep the ball was. Normally Carlos makes that play.
Well, you know, we saw the ball in right center the other night that he and Church both didn't see at a similar time in the evening, and I wonder whether he didn't see that ball when it first went up. Here's Brian McCann.
It was interesting that earlier in the game when Jeremy Reed had that play in right field, Alex Cora ran all the way out, pointing up in the sky where it was to get Reed to come in and make the play. You need to help your outfielders sometimes. Infielders need to help their outfielders at this time of night.
Now Pelfrey falls behind a dangerous hitter, Brian McCann, 2-0.
And McCann got a base hit his first time up to left field on a very good pitch from Pelfrey. Ball sinking down and away. Pelfrey let him off with a slider in, missed, then went with the sinker. He's behind. This is the fun part of the game right here where you got a guy up that can hurt you.
Well, here's where Pelfrey needs that ground ball. And McCann takes a strike. Pelfrey last year set a Mets club record, generated 29 ground ball double plays. Those are the numbers we were talking about earlier with McCann. He has become an elite catcher in a very short period of time.
I like the bunch McCann in left center. He's got a lot of power that way. Likes to go that way too if you pitch him away.
2-2 to McCann.
Oh, there was a pitch to hit right there. That was a kind of a helicopter slider, it looked like.
Casey Kochman on deck. No score. We're in the fourth. Pelfrey a little bit unlucky on the pop fly by Anderson that should have been caught and was not. Now trying to work his way through trouble. 2-2 to McCann. Lifted to left. Murphy drifting over to the edge of the track to reel it in. Nicely tracked by Daniel Murphy for the second out.
Well, that wind blown in from right field, it's kind of foul pole to foul pole. That ball wasn't hit that good and went back to the track. I think if you get the ball in the air to left today, it's going to carry out of here.
And I think we've seen that down both lines, the ball carries very well in this park.
Very, very true, Gare.
I mean, not only is it the shortest distance and the lowest fences, but the ball just seems to sail a little bit more than it does in the gaps. 335 to that left field corner. So now Kochman with 2 out and 2 on. He flied to right his first time, and Pelfrey crowds him with a slider, and it's 0-1.
A good slider right there.
Line center field coming on hard as Beltran sliding, and he did not catch it. He trapped it. The play at the plate not in time. Jones comes in to score, and it's 1-0 Atlanta.
I don't think he got to it, Gare. I thought he got on a short hop. We'll take another peek. Didn't get there.
Good call. The first base umpire, Ted Barrett, actually made that call from the right field line. He had the best angle on that ball. And Chipper Jones races home from second base with the first run of the game.
How about Kochman? Is he red hot or what?
Yeah. When you don't hit it that good, it finds a hole.
So Beltran's failure to catch Anderson's pop fly costs Pelfrey a run. 1-0 Atlanta, and now Jeff Francoeur. Francoeur struck out his first time up. And he lifts this one down the right field side. Reed over near the stands, but it's out of play. It was just pointed out to me, Ronnie, that Garrett Anderson pop fly hit.
Yes.
That you gave up Garrett Anderson's first major league hit. Did you know that?
I did know that. It's someone had told me, and I told our producer Greg Picker to check that out because I thought that had happened.
Was it as cheap as the one we just saw?
A bullet right through the box.
1-1.
He's been a good hitter for a long time, hasn't he?
July 27th, 1994.
Wow, those are the bad years.
Right before the strike.
That's right.
1-1, low and away, 2-1 to Francoeur. The number 8 hitter, Jordan Schaefer, on deck. 3 hits have produced a run for Atlanta in the 4th. Down slowly, and Reyes comes charging in to throw out Frank Kerr. His side retired. But the Braves scratch out a run. Going to the bottom of the 4th. Mets at the top of the order coming up. Homestand tomorrow afternoon. Jonathan Neese makes his second start against JoJo Reyes, who hasn't won in the dog's age. Then the Mets go to California. 4 in San Francisco, 3 in LA, and then 3 in that other Californian city in Massachusetts.
There's going to be some good pitching matchups in San Francisco, right?
Well, last night, Randy Johnson won his 298th career game. He pitches against Johan Santana on Saturday in San Francisco. Reyes pops one up. And Casey Kochman looking for it. Like he battled that one all the way, 1 out. If Randy were to win on Saturday, number 299, he would go for number 300 in, of all places, Seattle, where his career blossomed.
Sometimes this interleague play works, Gary. But, you know, for some names you don't know, Jonathan Sanchez is a really fine young left-hander. And on the last day, Pelfrey goes up against Matt Cain, who is an outstanding young pitcher, a little hard luck pitcher, but outstanding.
Giants have played very well. Cora tries to drop down a bunt and fouls it off. I mean, the thought on the Giants was that they would have great starting pitching, pretty good closer in Brian Wilson. How do Cora break his bat on a bunt?
How does that happen?
He's shaking his head.
Those little toothpicks they swing.
Now that's bad wood.
That's a fine in the Kangaroo Court, I'll tell you that.
Off the oh my God!
Never seen that happen before.
I've never.
You know, a lot of times you bring up a bat you don't know as a hitter that's broken already, don't you, Keith? I mean, that sometimes has a little hairline fracture.
I think it has a lot to do with the light bats they use today. Gary, you think you've seen it all in this game? There's always something.
Never know what you're going to see when you come to the ballpark. Cora hits one right back through the originator, and the Mets have their second hit of the night. So Alex Cora gets aboard with 1 out.
They're laughing at it.
He didn't break that bad. So now Daniel Murphy, who bounced out to short his first time up.
Murphy's a guy that you could hit and run with if it goes the other way naturally.
Especially when a guy's struggling, right, Keith? Sometimes you get him off the schneid.
Jurgen's a guy who throws strikes, so you have confidence he'll get something to hit.
That's a very good point you just made, Ronnie. David Johnson always told me that when I slumped, he said he thought that I would get too choosy up at the plate, and he would hit and run with me in a slump because it would force me to swing and concentrate.
Beltran on deck, 1-0 to Murphy, and that's off the plate, 2-0. Rare time Jurgens has been behind tonight. Long look for Murph down at Razor Shines to see what's on here. And there's a strike, 2-1.
Hit and run count. And you folks may ask, why is 2-1 a hit and run count? Well, a hit and run count, excuse me. Pitcher does not want to go 3-1. It's a good pitch to hit for a hitter.
Not going. Murph lofts it into shallow left, falling fast. Anderson can't get it. He trapped it. Throw to second, though, and he gets the force play on Cora. Nicely played by Garrett Anderson. Picked it up on the short hop. Cora got caught in no man's land, and an apparent base hit turns into a force at second base.
Well, we've talked about, I've not seen this play ever where someone's forced out on a short hop. Cora just gone. I got to take a look at Alex here and see where he's at. Obviously, he wasn't out there enough. Oh, he got caught with the stutter step.
That's what cost him. He made that one move back to first base. Of course, Jurgens enjoys that. Force out.
So it should be a base hit. It's a fielder's choice.
7-4 in your scorecard. Murphy at first with 2 down. Beltran the batter, and he takes ball 1. Carlos grounded out to the first baseman his first time up. And again, Jurgens is behind 2-0.
Well, you remember Gary
Carter.
Gary Carter. Oh, I got forced out in the World Series. I recall. Gary Carter got that base hit to Dwight Evans in right field and first and third. That put us ahead for good.
Toward the hole, base hit for Beltran. Murphy pulls in at second. And so Carlos Beltran has a hit in his 6th straight game, and the Mets have 2 on for David Wright.
You know, Carlos has slowed down a bit, but you know what? He does not. Every at-bat's been a quality at-bat. You can't stay red hot forever.
You're not going to hit 400 all season.
Exactly. And this man right now is, when he's making outs, he's not looking bad up there. He's taking quality swings, quality ABs.
So the Mets down 1-0. Now the tying run at second, the go-ahead run at first with 2 down. David Wright single to left his first time up. David now hitting over 300 with runners in scoring position. And he takes a slider for a strike.
That's what makes Jurgens so tough, even though he's a young pitcher. Tatis on deck. He can throw any pitch on any count. Very unusual for a young pitcher. Usually they have one pitch they go to when they're in trouble.
And he beats Wright upstairs with the fastball. It's 0-2.
Been throwing the fastball almost all night, right, Gary? 90, 91, all of a sudden 93 when he's in trouble. Those are all good signs for young pitchers.
Well, there's that fastball up the ladder. See if he goes back upstairs again.
David wastes one away. 94 from Jurgens. Hardest pitch he's thrown all night.
Well, I think Jurgens has got to think to himself, the last time up he was throwing the ball that was beating David. Then he went with a breaking ball that cost him a hit. So if he goes with a breaking pitch, it's got to be something in the dirt.
Fastball up and in. One thing I've noticed about McCann over the years, and I always, because Lou Brock told me when I was very young, when I started playing every day, because learn your catchers. Because catchers call what they don't like to hit. So I always observe what catchers like to call. McCann is predominantly calls away. Doesn't call inside. I don't think he calls inside enough.
0-2 to Wright.
In the dirt, goes to the backstop, and that'll move the runners to second and third.
that a changeup, Ron?
Or changeup down.
His third pitch.
Pitch wasn't even close. We talked about it. He didn't want to get beat with his breaking pitches or his secondary pitches in the strike zone. Wanted to bounce that one, of course. Difficult play from the can.
Roger McDowell, good buddy, pitching coach for the Braves.
First wild pitch of the year for Jurgens, and now a base hit could give the Mets the lead. But Wright still behind in the count, 1-2. David with 3 home runs, 18 driven in. Murphy the tying run at third. Beltran the lead run at second with 2 out. On the outside corner, strike 3 call. Right down looking. Mets leave 2 in scoring position as Jurgens registers his 4th strikeout of the night. We've played 4. Perfect pitch.
Jordan Schaefer leads it off for the Braves. Top 5, they lead the Mets 1-0. Welcome back to Citi Field. We're talking last inning about Mike Pelfrey and his roots in Wichita, Kansas, and his high school coach. Well, I got to spend some time with Mike in the offseason, and not only his high school coach and his wife and a lot of the people around town, but his college pitching coach, the very well-respected Brent Chemnitz at Wichita State. He's been there for over 30 years. He's had 9 first-round draft picks for Chemnitz. Guys like Darren Dreifert, Braden Looper, Nate Robertson. He's had some big-name guys there. And when Pelfrey was drafted in the 15th round by Tampa Bay, he reached out to him and said, listen, stay here, stay in town, come to Wichita State. And he did, and of course it all worked out. But he had a funny story. Guys, his nickname for Pelf was Marmaduke. He said, he's got this tenacious attitude, and he'll really get after it on the mound, but he's so lovable. He's just like a big dog. And then he paused. He said, you want to go up and just give him a little noogie. And that does sum up Pelfrey. He's so laid back and so down to earth, but on the mound, he does turn it on. You maybe not see it from him, but it's in there.
Jordan Schaefer lifts one to center field. Beltran easing back to make the play. Well, I'll say this. Mike can come off as a little goofy off the mound, but he is a lot more serious and focused now than he was a couple of years ago, just in his off-the-field demeanor.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think, Kevin, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he also got married over the winter, didn't he?
He did get married. In fact, they're expecting their first child. So it's an exciting time for Mike. And I think that certainly, got a chance to talk to his lovely wife, Angela, and she had something interesting to say, too. I just think there's a real appreciation for where he's at, guys. She said, I don't remember the exact quote, but something to the effect of, it's kind of special when I see him sign an autograph of a little kid and see that kid just brighten up. That makes my day and makes his day. And, just going about town in Wichita, he's just a regular. I thought when we'd walk into his high school, people would be like falling down to greet him, but he's a regular dude.
Pelfrey fields the grounder by Jurgens and throws him out. And, you know, Pelfrey survived. We were talking earlier about some of his losing ways early in his career. And I remember Tom Glavine talking about this a couple of years ago when he was here, that, you know, Glavine went 7-17 his first year, but he did it for a terrible team in Atlanta, whereas Pelfrey went through those losing ways on a team that was expected to win, doing it in the spotlight, and it was a very difficult experience that he's come through, and I think it really has added to his maturity.
Well, I think it's just admirable that he went through those difficult times and at times looked lost, and now is so comfortable. It's fun to watch him pitch. He's aggressive, goes after the hitters.
Kelly Johnson takes a strike.
And I honestly, watching Derek Lowe pitch last night, when Pelfrey gets himself a nice slider, a good secondary pitch, he could be a reincarnation of Derek Lowe. He could be that kind of pitcher.
Johnson bounces one right to Alex Cora, down to a knee to play it. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Mike Pelfrey. We are halfway through another pitcher's duel at Citi Field. 1-0 Atlanta. TIXX. Time to check out our Aflac trivia question for tonight. Who is the only player with 500 or more hits for 4 different teams? And I know all 3 of us know the answer, so let's not blurt it out, okay?
I can give this clue. We had dinner with him tonight.
He's in the ballpark.
Mike Pelfrey's given up just 1 run through the first 5 innings, but right now that 1 is enough to beat him because Jair Jurgens has been that much better. Fernando Tatis will lead off the bottom of the 5th. Tatis struck out for the first time in a while, and it turned into a strike him out, throw him out double play. And he takes a strike from Jurgens.
Boy, you are right about Jurgens, Ronnie. He's got a beautiful motion, fluid and smooth, effortless.
Yeah, he was taught well. Very classic motion. First, hands over the head, kind of regroups, stops, and then proceeds. About as simple as it can get.
Came out of the Tigers organization. Was traded to Atlanta after a brief stint with Detroit in 07. That was the deal that sent Edgar Renteria the other way.
Boy, there's a good player, I think. A solid player that has played with so many teams. You see that motion. See that front shoulder? It's closed. Beautiful balance. Thinking about Renteria, right? Here's a guy who's been a good player. How many teams has he played for now?
Hit hard, but right at Kelly Johnson. And that gets Tatis for the first out. Well, if it hadn't been for the initial fire sale in Florida, he probably would have stayed there forever.
Well, Renteria was one of the, along the line of offensive shortstops.
Yes.
He could hit.
Not bad defensively either.
No, I know, but he was.
I know he had the one bad year in Boston.
He was a hitter.
Well, he had the game-winning hit in Game 7 of the World Series. That's pretty clutch. Here's Jeremy Reed. He lifts one to left, chasing Garrett Anderson back, and that's the second out. So 2 hard-hit balls against Jurgens here in the 5th, resulting in 2 outs.
Well, one thing you notice with good pitchers is that, and we'll see what happens here facing Santos, when they get down to the bottom of the lineup in the middle of the game, you'll invariably see them have a quick inning, a quick pitch inning, one of them to regroup and get them to go later in the game. For a pitcher right here, you know, working so hard to get the safe place hitter out because you don't turn the lineup over.
Santos thrown out on a fine play by Chipper Jones his first time. Chipper going to his knees behind the bag at third and throwing out Santos.
And defensively in that outfield, the word has gotten around quickly. Santos goes the opposite field very well. As you can see, George Schaefer in center field really shading to right field.
With Anderson playing straight away and left, there's an enormous gap in left center.
Francoeur playing like he likes. Francoeur loves to play a very shallow right field.
2-1 to Santos.
Keith, I don't know if you remember this, but whenever an 8th place hitter would come up during the game and there'd be no one on base, 2 outs, you would always scream in from first base. 8th place hitter to remind the pitcher to get through that inning.
Did I really do that? I forgot.
Yes, you did.
Oh, no.
Somebody has run on the field and is delaying the game. Of course, we're not going to show him on television. But the security folks are going to take care of him and take him away, and he'll spend his day in court. So our first such disruption at Citi Field. I guess they make a list of firsts. Will somebody from Major League Baseball be here to authenticate that young man? Reminds me of the story from when streaking was in vogue in the 70s. And a streaker appeared on the field during a Mets game where Yogi Berra was managing, and they asked Yogi, was it a male or a female streaker? And he said, I couldn't tell. He didn't have any clothes on.
Yogi.
3-2. By the way, it's Yogi Berra's birthday today. Happy birthday to Yogi. He's 84 today. So Jurgens loses the 8-hitter. And Santos is aboard on the walk. Yogi is one of the great institutions in American sports.
Well, he managed the Mets.
Well, he took over when Gil Hodges died right before the season in '72. I think he made it. He won the pennant, of course, in '73. I think he made it into '75 before they let him go. So here's Pelfrey, who had a little flare back to the mound that Jurgens caught his first time up. First walk for Jurgens tonight. And Pelfrey bounces one right to Escobar. Will take it himself. And that ends the inning. 5 in the books now at Citi Field. Braves 1, Mets nothing.
In his major league career, Ayala belted a home run. Benny became the first Mets player ever to homer in his first at-bat, the first National Leaguer to do so in 13 years, and only the 40th player in Major League history to accomplish that trick.
Where have you gone, Benny Ayala?
Benny Ayala, I remember. Very high-strung.
What year was that?
1974.
He was very, very high-strung, nervous guy. He had a little twitch, nervous twitch. Talked real fast.
Well, he didn't last very long, but obviously made an impression on you.
I remember him. The chatterbox.
6th inning, Yunel Escobar, check swing bouncer, and that goes foul. Well, Benny became the first Met to homer in his first big league at bat. There have been 3 others.
I saw one, 1983. Mike Fitzgerald.
Oh, Fitzy.
Remember in Veterans Stadium?
Yes.
Who was famously included in the deal that brought the Mets Gary Carter. Kaz Matsui homered in his first big league at bat. In fact, it was opening day, leading off, first pitch from Russ Ortiz. He hit it over the center field fence in Atlanta.
Saw that one.
That was in 04. And then the following year, Mike Jacobs homered in his first big league at bat.
So Kaz was a favorite for about 30 seconds.
That's about right. Well, he specialized 3 years in a row. He homered his first at bat of the year. The third time it was inside the park. It was everything after opening day that Kaz had trouble with. Although I have to tell you, Kaz has played awfully well since he left New York. First with Colorado and then with Houston. 1-2 to Escobar, who's 0 for 2 on the night. And he lines one down the left field line. And that is going to settle into the corner. An extra base hit for Escobar. So the first extra base hit of the night for either side, a leadoff double.
Oh, let me tell you, son, this was a sinker in, and he just turned on it. Fair by around 10 feet.
And Mike's been pounding him in all night. That pitch just a little up in the pitches before.
So now Chipper Jones. Let's check in with Kevin.
I was talking with Chipper before the game, guys, and I asked him what he missed most about the old Mets-Braves rivalry when, of course, both teams were very, very good. And he said, well, I miss exactly what Philly and the Mets have now. I miss the chatting between the players and the players and the players and the coaches, and he hits this one deep to right center field. Beltran on the run, and he makes the catch. Escobar will tag. But he missed basically, guys, being in the heart of it. He said that's what gets your blood boiling. And look, I realize, especially in my younger days, I talked a lot. I was a big part of that. He said now I watch Rollins and Hamels and Beltran, and I sit there and I snicker. I just remember being in the middle of that. But you could just sense he misses it. He misses it big time, guys.
I'll tell you what else he misses. He misses Shea Stadium because that ball might have been off the wall or out of the ballpark.
Oh, that's out of the ballpark at Turner. That's out of the ballpark at Shea. And the wind blowing in from right field today just knocked that ball down. Plus, he hit it in the deepest part of the park, right by that Geico sign at the 415.
And Beltran, who had a couple of troubling plays in the 4th inning, makes a very nice running catch there. Now Escobar at third with 1 out. Mets down 1-0, so the infield comes in for Garrett Anderson. And he fouls back the first offering.
Well, he crushed this ball. First ball foul. Oh, it's a slider.
Little slider down and in.
Oh, boy, did he clear his hips.
That's a tough pitch to throw right there because you're trying to get Chipper to not pull the baseball. When you throw a slider, that's going to be more apt to pull that one. He got the job done even with the out of getting Escobar to third base.
He's officially not naming his next child City. Here's the 0-1, and it's inside to Anderson, 1-1. Although he had already said that before he played here, that his wife would not countenance having a child named City.
That's
so
true.
we might as well forget about it. Escobar at third with decent speed. And Anderson takes in tight 2-1.
Nope. Back-to-back sliders inside. As a hitter right now, you see the pitch count, Ron.
Very low from Mike.
Pelfrey looking for a ground ball now. 2 pitches in. I'd be kind of thinking, okay, he's going to go out there on that outside corner. They're going to go back in.
2-1 to Anderson. And he gets one to right center field. That'll get the run in at least. Reed goes over in the gap to grab it, but Escobar can walk on in with the second Atlanta run.
So a leadoff double for Escobar. A couple of fly balls get him home. Anderson with just his 5th run batted into the season, and it's 2-0 Braves.
Well, a little textbook play there. This inning could have been a lot worse. That ball a chipper hit could have been out of here. But he tried to come in again, Ron, and just didn't get it in enough.
Well, he wants that ball down around knee level. Santos wants a strike here, but that pitch is right up near the letters. 2 professional at-bats there, though, by Chipper Jones and Garrett Anderson.
I agree.
Your IOTV pitch differential. Now Brian McCann takes ball 1.
Not that bad a pitch.
McCann single to left, fly to left, 1 for 2. Pelfrey's allowed just 5 hits, but now finds himself down 2-0. And that's smacked into right field for a base hit. McCann's 2nd hit of the night. So a 2-out base runner. Let's head to the studio. Chris Carlin standing by with the New York State Smokers Quit Line game break.
Well, what a nice pickup Ibanez has been, huh?
Chan-Ho Park coming off his great start here at Citi Field, pitching well again tonight.
I bet you he's throwing fastballs.
Here's Casey Kochman, who had a base hit to drive in the first Atlanta run. Ball trapped by Beltran in center field. Taken for a strike. That's been on the short end of a couple of traps. Beltran not able to catch Kochman's ball that brought in the first run, and then Anderson trapping a ball in left field off the bat of Daniel Murphy that turned into a force play. One and 1 to Kochman.
Don't touch that dial, folks. There's nothing wrong with your TV.
What is this, the outer limits? Pulled foul, and it's 1 and 2 to Kochman. Good hands.
Oh boy, is that how I'm going to look in 10 years? Still got my moss. Still got my moss here.
Maybe you need to grow it a little longer. At least you still can. Late swing foul. Some of us don't have a choice, you know.
Well, it's interesting. My brother has lost a lot of his hair, and I haven't. So go figure, right? Same mom and dad.
1 and 2 to Kochman. Slow ground ball. Tatis fields it and leads Pelfrey nicely for the final out of the inning. But the Braves tack on a run on the Garrett Anderson sacrifice fly, middle of the 6th. 2-0 Atlanta. with the refreshingly retro flavor of Pepsi Throwback. On this date in Mets history, Frank Viola, who would win 20 that year, won his 7th straight to start the season in 1990. Frankie V, whom the Mets acquired from the Twins during the 1989 season, had the big year in 1990, finishing 3rd in the Cy Young balloting.
Sweet music. His ERA was what, the second to Santana's now, 0.78 through those 7 starts.
Top of the batting order, Jose Reyes takes high for ball 1. Here's a stunning number on Santana. There's a lot of residue from that start yesterday.
Yeah.
Through his first 7 starts now, Santana's ERA is 0.78, as you know. Now he has an ERA under 0.8, and he has 2 losses through his first 7 starts. You know the last time that happened to a pitcher? 2 losses through his first 7 starts with an ERA that low? 1918. Jeez. Dana Fillingham for the 1918 Boston Braves had a 5-2 record and a 0.29 ERA through 7 starts. That's the last time that anybody's had an ERA that low and had 2 losses.
Well, that's one list he didn't want to be on, Gary.
No. Reyes bounced one slowly. Johnson in, makes the quick toss low, but Kochman makes a nice play for the first out.
Wow. Well, that's what Reyes will do, force the fielders to rush. And a nice short hop, nice play by Kochman, who was a nice little fielding first baseman.
Johnson wanted to toss that up a little higher, but ended up playing bocce ball there with that. Good play.
So my grandfather used to play.
I'm not very familiar with the rules of bocce. What's it, the big ball has to be close to the small ball?
Yeah, you throw out a little, kind of a little tiny ball that looks like a golf ball size, and then what you do is you play closest to that small ball, and you can knock people away, you can spin it around.
So it's a European game.
I know a restaurant on the Upper East Side, I won't say what it is, but they have a bocce court in the restaurant.
The garden in the back, maybe?
Yes.
I know what restaurant you're talking about. I played bocce ball there. I stink.
Alex Cora slashes one foul, and it's 0-2.
My paternal grandfather, the Spanish side, came over from Spain, and there was a big Spanish clique in San Francisco that hung out together because they didn't speak any English, so they would hang together. They all would go off on the weekends, and they worked Monday through Friday and play bocce ball.
Felt bocce was more of an Italian pursuit than Spanish. 1-2 to Cora. You learn so much sitting in this booth. Things you never would have expected.
We'll take you there once for a little bocce ball, Gary.
Look forward to that. I've never played. Horseshoes, played that.
Oh.
That's the closest, right? Get leaners and
That's
bocce
leaners?
ball?
No, leaners.
No leaners. Cora fouls it back. And, you know, the concept is similar to curling, right? You have to be closest to the middle of the house.
The ones that are really good, the older gentlemen that I've seen play that are really good can make the ball spin around other balls. It's a great game. Problem is, when you played, you probably there's an over and under on a glass of wine. If you have a glass of wine, you're good at it. If you have 2 glasses of wine, you get exponentially worse.
Sometimes a little more wine, the ball spins more.
There you go.
Here's the 1-2 to Cora. Popped it up, and Kelly Johnson is there to call, and Escobar comes over to call him off for the second out. So 2 out and nobody on. Weeknights at 6, find out with Chris Carlin and Adam Shine what has them foaming at the mouth as they take on the biggest sports topics of the day. Your calls and each other on Loudmouths, presented by Geico. Weeknights at 6, only on SNY. Boy, Carlin works hard.
Doesn't stop, right?
Here's Daniel Murphy, 0 for 2. Looked like he had a base hit his last time up, a ball that Garrett Anderson trapped in left field, but Anderson with a quick toss forced out Cora at second base, and that put a crimp in the Mets' best rally of the night. Mets have had only 3 hits.
Well, everybody has their little mechanism to get ready. Murph kind of wiggles that bat a little bit, kind of rocks.
It's like he's doing the funky chicken with the elbows.
Well, he looks like Super Mario when he runs.
Jurgens behind in the count, 2-0. And the fastball bounced to the right side for Kochman. And the Mets are out 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 6th. We head for the 7th at Citi Field. Still 2-0 Atlanta.
The DH, I think, was a change since I first started.
Yeah.
And I'm not a advocate of the DH. I don't like that much. Other changes in baseball, I think the bullpen naturally has become a lot more important. You have specialists in the 7th, 8th, and 9th now that, years ago, the pitchers went most of the time 9 innings, and then somebody thought of, why don't we put this guy out there just to pitch the 9th? And since then, we have guys pitching the 7th and 8th as well as the 9th. And the food in the clubhouse has changed a lot, Kevin. There used to be no food in the clubhouse. Now it's all about food. So, I don't know. A lot of things have changed in baseball.
More food and less beer in the clubhouse.
You know, it's amazing because I was telling you, I saw the Mets locker room, their beautiful kitchen there that the young ladies make their food. And in the day, you would have soup and crackers. That's it. I mean, that was what you had. And then once you got into the season, after the game, of course, Charlie Samuels always had a good spread, but we never had a room really to eat it in. So you kind of sat on your stool with the paper plate.
Well, there's no question that if you're a major league player, the amenities, the luxuries are exponential compared to even 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's the golden age. Great to be a ball player right now. It's always great to be a ball player.
2-2 to Frank Kerr leading off the 7th inning. Jordan Schaefer on deck, and then Jair Jurgens in the 7th. It's only the 2nd time tonight now that Pelfrey's gone to 3 balls and a batter. Walked Schaefer back in the 3rd, and this is the only other time he's been to a 3-ball count, and of all people, Frank Kerr, who rarely walks. Frank Kerr has had 132 at-bats this year, 4 walks.
I knew it was a pitcher.
Yeah, they're always fiddling with the baseball, right?
Yep. It's a good thing to do.
Jonathan Main's next start will be Thursday night in San Francisco. Hit hard down to 3rd, and a nice play off to the side by Wright. And he throws out Frank Kerr, 1 away. What a hot shot for David.
Well, nice play by David here. It's a great shot right here. Rocket. Nicely done. Well, once you make, that's the tough part of the play. Throws it easy. That is just a hot corner right there. Nice play, David.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Schaefer, who's walked and flied to center, 0 for 1. The only walk that Pelfrey has given up tonight. He walked only 1 in his last start. Another pitcher's duel at Citi Field. I got a feeling we're going to see a bunch of these this year. I mean, you've got the big ballpark, and as a result, more and more we're seeing the pitchers who come in here for both the Mets and the opposition being very aggressive. And that's how you win.
Also, with such a change as far as the hitting and for power and the long ball, I mean, this is a park. If you're a line drive hitter, or you bring a club in here like the 80s Cardinals that were line drive hitters and had speed, they would love coming to this park and play.
Schaefer fouls one back. Ultimately, Ronnie, for a pitcher, is it about the fact that the ballpark is so big and that balls like the one Chipper Jones hit that might have been home runs elsewhere aren't, or is it more about the psychological benefit of having that big expanse behind you?
Well, I think it's the psychological benefit. It's like pitching when the wind's blowing in. You feel like there's nothing you can throw over the plate that the hitters can hit out of the ballpark. So it gives you that extra boost of confidence, which is always a good thing. But just physically, you know, you're talking about Chipper Jones. That's a 2-run bomb. Feeling bad about yourself now. Maybe I'm not going to be as aggressive because they're hitting that fastball. They're hitting that slider. So I think it works both ways. But coming to every pitcher is going to want to pitch in this ballpark. Absolutely.
1-2 to Schaefer. Tapped back to the mound. Off Pelfrey's glove. Cora hurries in, and he got him at first base. Against the speedy Jordan Schaefer, Cora really had to rush it, and he gets him for the second out.
Well, just out of the reach of Mike, and no time to waste for Cora, and makes the play. And this is a routine, I can't say a routine play, but a play a major leaguer makes. But it's not an easy play.
You know, though, you look around, that's more of an old-time play there, because most guys nowadays that are under 25, 26 years old usually make that with the bare hand. Alex Cora, of course, with 2 hands.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now Jair Jurgens hits a slow ground ball, and Wright has enough time to throw him out. 3 ground ball outs for Pelfrey in that 7th inning. 7th inning stretch time. Still 2-0 Atlanta. As they host their series finale against the Braves right here at Citi Field. Mets Braves coverage begins tomorrow at 12:30, only on SNY. Let's answer our Aflac trivia question. If you're a Met fan, you probably know this one. The only player with 500 or more hits for 4 different teams, Le Grand Orange. Rusty Staub spent 6 years with the Astros, 9 years with the Mets, 4 years with Detroit, and the stunning thing is only 4 years with the Expos, although he was so closely associated with that franchise.
They love him up in Montreal, and that's it for Pelf. Bit surprised.
2,716 hits for LeBron Orange.
I don't understand this. Pelfrey's thrown only 96 pitches. His spot on the lineup is not due up. He's pitched extremely well. Why is he coming out of this game?
Well, myself and Davey Johnson would have some fighting words over that one. I would be, Skip, you got to leave me in. I'm down 2-0. Now, if my spot comes up in the order, you got bases loaded, and you want to hit someone, get me a few runs and a win, that's fine with me. But you know, that's. We say it's the same. It's the same.
Well, it's not.
Yeah.
To me, it's not the same. Last night, Santana threw 108.
Yeah.
Didn't have his best stuff. I mean, there were reasons that you could make the case for taking him out. At 96 pitches right now for Pelfrey, I don't understand what the case is.
Yeah, and he's rolling too.
Beltran hits one to center field, chasing Schaefer back, but he'll get there, and that's the first out.
Ball is going nowhere in center field.
That is Death Valley. You know, we had that conversation last inning, Gary, and you asked Ronnie, you know, about the confidence level pitching to a big stadium. You know, conversely, from the hitter's point of view, you used to go in the dome, and the dome, you feel like, you know, you were paddling upstream. You know, you had AstroTurf to counter it, but you had to hit line drives. There was no margin for error, and also at Busch Stadium, Old Busch Stadium.
And Houston always had some pretty good pitchers, too.
Here's David Wright, 1 for 2 on the day. David had a big at bat in the 4th inning after a couple of hits and a wild pitch. The Mets had 2nd and 3rd and 2 out, and Jurgens made a perfect pitch, knee-high outside corner, and got David looking. And that was the Mets' best and really only threat of the night. Jurgens keeps it away, and it's 0-2 to Wright.
You know what I'll tell you also happens, Gary? When you're a starting pitcher, the first thing you see when you come to the ballpark is the lineup. And you look down at the lineup, you say, boy, Carlos Delgado's not playing. That's a plus.
Yep.
And you start going through it, and you say to yourself, oh, this is just a little better than it usually is, having faced this Mets team. And that gives you confidence, too.
The Mets imagined only 3 singles tonight against Jurgens. Mets came into the night with the highest team batting average in the National League. Jurgens has struck out 4 tonight, walked only 1. Inside and high, David with some quick evasive action, 1 and 2.
Well, you know something, I was just going to mention this, that David has been fighting off with 2 strikes and obviously diving over that plate. You can see standing on top. You know, move him off. And the good pitchers always double up after that.
Goes back away, and Wright hits it well to right field, chasing Frank Kerr back. He got spun around, and it's off the wall and bouncing away from Frank Kerr. And Wright is around second and on his way to third. David Wright with his 3rd triple of the year. They come up and in. That's how you get your revenge. That's first extra base hit of the night.
Well, David's still going the other way, and Frank Kerr, we told you earlier, likes to play that kind of shallow right field. He gets burned here.
Well, the great part is that these funny little caroms you're going to get in Citi Field allows David to go from 2nd to 3rd and get his triple.
The Mets' 14th triple this season. That's the most in the majors.
Look at this bounce.
That's a welcome to Citi Field moment for Frank Kerr.
You know, Frank Kerr thought about the carom properly. It was hitting in the angle, and it should have kicked out towards center field, and it came right back towards home plate.
So now Tatis, the infield will play back. The Braves with a 2-run lead in the 7th. Tatis has struck out and grounded out, and he hits into the air to left center field, not very deep. Schaefer angling in as Wright tags up. Schaefer with the catch. Here comes Wright. Here comes Schaefer's throw. McCann with the tag, and he's out.
Oh, what a great play. Brian McCann reaching back to slap the tag on David Wright, and the inning is over. Schaefer got up there on the fly, but to the first base side, and McCann did the rest. David going in head first, and he gets tagged on the arm. The double play ends the inning. Still 2-0 Atlanta as we head to the 8th.
Wondering why the Braves keep playing young Jordan Schaefer. What a powerful arm here, but what a play by McCann on a ball tailing up the first base line and just makes the one-handed catch and then comes over and makes the tag on David's wrist.
Here's your Coors Light freeze cam.
And he is out.
Just a quick tag, too, by McCann.
Now, let me ask you guys. Head first slide. If he goes in feet first, does he have a chance to kick that ball out of the glove?
Well, he has a better chance to kick it out if he goes feet first. Absolutely. The spikes into a glove is always going to be harder and more jolting than a hand trying to sweep across the plate, always. J.J. Putz in the game. 18th game so far this year. These guys, Putz and Rodriguez, so it look like they're going to have the 8th and 9th whether the Mets are winning or losing. You want to keep that game close.
Well, JJ's pitched only once in the last 3 days, which, given the initial workload this year, doesn't seem like a whole lot. And Frankie Rodriguez has had, I think, 4 days off in a row now. Kelly Johnson 0 for 3 on the night, struck out, flied out, grounded out. Well, the Mets have had some base running misadventures tonight. Cora out on the forced play at second on the ball trapped by Garrett Anderson. David Wright thrown out on a strike him out, throw him out double play when Kelly Johnson blocked him off the bag, and now that play at the plate.
What's throwing hard tonight? The time off has helped. And I never go by the radar going because you never know, but I go by the swing of the hitters who are. Kelly Johnson getting fastball after fastball has been laid on every single one.
Oh, 2 from Putz on the inside corner. Strike 3 call. Got him looking at the fastball. 1 out in the 8th. Let's go to the studio. Chris Carlin and a New York State Smokers Quit Line game break. Marlins might have a chance to regain first place tonight if they win and the Mets lose. Here's Yunel Escobar, who's 1 for 3, doubled and scored in the 6th inning.
Oh, good slider. Nice down break here.
Boy, that's a big slider. Late breaker, too.
Very much the 3rd pitch for J.J. Putz. You can see why he had so much success closing games in Seattle. I mean, very much like K-Rod, you think of closers generally as having 1, maybe 2 weapons.
Yeah.
To have 3 like each one of these guys does, that's unusual.
Well, what's nice about Putz, too, is that when he comes in the 8th inning, he's got the closer mentality. So, you know, you're holding a lead in the 8th when it's tight. To take it to Rodriguez, and you've got that guy with that kind of mentality that wants to pitch in that situation.
0-2 to Escobar. Hit to right field. Long run for Reed to the line. He can't get there, and it's a fair ball. Escobar heads to second. Reed just now picking it up, and Escobar could have easily gotten third, but he gave up on that and pulled into second base.
Incredibly gave up on that. He pulled up. He had 3 easily. As Reed here can't get to it, and the ball gets by him. And I'm sure we'll have it for you here. Watch this. This should have been 3 bases all the way. Turns it on here, and then it's kind of like, okay, I'm just satisfied.
Especially with 1 out, you've got to take that extra base.
You know, that's middle. He wanted that down and away.
Ryo pitch differential. Chipper Jones won't get a chance to swing the bat here with first base open.
Well, those are the little things.
That balming fluid you're putting on his arm, it almost makes your arm feel hot.
There are various grades of hot stuff. There's an analgesic balm, an atomic balm.
When I hurt my arm in '87, I used to use a ton of that stuff. It was hard to even be close near me. All you could do is smell it radiating off your arm.
At least you didn't use the DMSO.
DMSO, that was awful.
You got your jalapeno, you've got your habanero.
There you go.
DMSO was Mark Littell when I was with the Cardinals used it, and it was like a wonder liniment, right? But it would go into your pores and give you the most atrocious breath that, you know, when Mark Littell used it all the time, everybody would just clear away from him. I wouldn't even go to the mound. You're on your own.
Mark Littell, always remembered for one pitch.
Chris Chambliss.
1976. I had the misfortune to be there that day.
Mark Littell. Mark Littell had as great a slider I ever faced.
Here's Garrett Anderson with 2 aboard, and he fouls it back. That's no knock on Chris Chambliss because I love Chris Chambliss.
Of course.
But, you know.
Your colors run blue and orange, Gary.
That day they ran light blue.
That was Whitey Herzog's crew, right? When he was a manager of the Royals. John Mayberry at first, Brett at third. They had Paul Splittorff,
Frank White,
Freddie Patek.
Yep, they had a good team. Amos Otis,
Hal McRae.
Up and into Anderson, 1-1. Dennis Leonard on that team?
Yes.
Paul Splittorff.
You had the Submariner on there then?
Yeah,
Quisenberry. That was a heck of a series.
Darryl Porter, the catcher?
I believe so.
High splitter to Anderson. It's 2-1. Brian McCann on deck as Putz tries to work through trouble in the 8th. It's already down 2-0, and they'll have the lower part of the order coming up at the bottom of the 8th. Anderson, a pop fly single and a sacrifice fly tonight, 1 for 2. Grounded slowly. Cora gets the out at second. Reyes no relay as Chipper came in hard. So they get the second out. Runners at the corners with 2 out.
Well, Jose, nice play, nice attempt by Tatis, and Jose wisely eats the ball. Tough play with the pitcher covering, good takeout slide. The Braves know how to play the game, don't they?
So Cora got the out he could get. And now 2 out first and third for Brian McCann, who already has 2 hits tonight, a single to left and a single to right.
And I agree with you, Keith. Great decision by Jose Reyes not to throw that baseball.
Well, Ronnie, 2 left-hand hitters back to back here. If you're pitching out there, would you pitch McCann? Because McCann's such a good line drive hitter.
At this point in the game, where you can't give up another run, very careful, McCann, even though Kochman's having a great May.
Outside of McCann for ball 1. Keith, we've seen with J.J. Putz, he works at a very deliberate pace. You're playing out in the field, is that a problem?
It wouldn't be a problem because JJ's not going to pitch in blowouts.
So the game is on the line right now.
He's always pitching in tight games where you're on your toes.
Now he's behind on McCann, 2-0. And he's only pitching 1 inning at a time. It's not like playing behind Steve Traxel.
Boy, our favorite whipping boy, poor Steve.
Tell you what, Steve had some pretty good years
He
here.
did.
Let me tell you. I always liked Steve.
116 that 1 year, right?
Steve was a gentleman and a professional, but he pitched awful slow.
Well, it takes time to choose the right wine.
He was a wine connoisseur.
2-0 to McCann. Lifted down the left field line. A long run for Murphy to the corner. He can't get it. It bounces up and over the wall for a ground rule double. That brings home Escobar. Anderson has to stop at third, and it's 3-0 Atlanta. Brian McCann with his 3rd hit of the night, and he drives in the run with the opposite field double.
Well, fortunate for the Mets here, because this was a 2-run RBI double right here. It's just tailing away from Murphy. Nice effort.
And you see, even though the ball hit that railing, it went over the orange line, which meant that it was out of play, and thus a ground rule double. So now let's see if they pitch to Kochman here. Frank Kerr on deck, the right-hand hitter. And so they will intentionally walk Kochman. So J.J. Putz giving up a couple of doubles in the 8th inning to produce a run. And this will be the second intentional walk of the inning.
And Francoeur will come up with a chance to blow the ball game wide open.
It's all the little things, right, that don't show up in the box score. A hard slide doesn't allow Reyes to make the throw. Gives your team an opportunity at one more at bat, which can make a difference.
Well, the pitcher gets Garrett Anderson out, but he hits a slow roller.
Yeah.
He could have hit a nice tailor-made double play. And that's the beauty of the game.
Yep. Well, he wants his fastball low and away, trying to get a ground ball. It's up out over the plate, and McCann just feasts on anything out and over the plate. Has tremendous power to left field.
That's your IO pitch differential. Let me ask you a question. We've been working with that IO pitch differential now for 6 weeks. Have we ever seen a pitch lower than its intended target that wound up as a hit?
I think. We've ended up with one that wasn't a hit, but we've only seen one I've seen that's been lower than the original target. Everything up is the ones that are put in play.
Ted Williams always told me, I know I said it before, when he pulled me aside one day, he said, what's the easiest pitch to hit? I said the pitch up and away, very sheepishly, but Ted said, don't be shy, because it's just right here, your hands are here, and boom, right to the outside pitch. And up.
Bases loaded, 2 out for Frank Kerr, who's 0 for 3 on the night. And he takes low from Putz, 1-0. Pedro Feliciano up in the Mets bullpen with the left-hand hitting Schaefer on deck. Frank Kerr rolls one out to Reyes, who gets the force to end the inning. But the Braves tack on a run. Doubles by Escobar and McCann produce a run. That's allowed the lower third of the order coming up, now trailing 3-0. Is brought to you by Fox Nation, America's Talking. By Pella Windows, the Mets' official window and door replacement company. Call 1-866-64-PELLA for special savings today. And by Firestone, a tradition of innovation. Home 8th inning, Mets have not been shut out this year. They trail 3-0. Jeremy Reed trying to bunt his way on against Jair Jurgens, who continues on into the 8th. Jurgens has been spectacular today. He's gotten helped out by some good defense behind him. The Mets have had only 4 hits. Peter Moylan, the side-arming right-hander. Eric O'Flaherty, the left-hander, on the other side of the fence.
Reed grounds one toward the middle, base hit. And the Mets get the leadoff man on for the first time tonight.
Jurgens gives up just his 5th hit, and now Omar Santos comes up. And already Ryan Church has moved out into the on-deck circle to pinch hit. Roger McDowell out to have a word.
Oh, too much in the middle there.
There we go. But you know what?
That missing down.
But you know what? He missed down, and it's a base hit, but it's a ground ball. You know, it could have been right at someone. Not a bad pitch. Jeremy hit him where they ain't.
Well, Reed taking advantage of his opportunities, playing for Ryan Church the last 2 days against right-handed pitching. And Reed had 2 hits yesterday. Now base hit tonight, trying to get a rally started.
You know, we don't always say it, but Mr. Andy Fletcher, the home plate umpire, we haven't talked about him all night. You know what that means? He's done a great job.
He's called a very good game.
He really has.
Consistent.
Jurgens only at 92 pitches, working in the 8th inning. Santos 0 for 1. He's also drawn a walk, and he pops up the first pitch. McCann coming back, and he will run out of room.
Boy, oh boy, there is no foul territory.
Wow.
What a hitter's delight.
The ultimate mulligan when you pop one up behind the plate here.
And he got a little on the first and third base sides in front of the dugouts, but that's about it.
Jurgens, if he was watching, he knows that Santos tries to shoot that ball to the right side. Let's see if he counters with 2 things. One, a fastball in, or a breaking ball down and away.
On the outside corner with a changeup, and it's 0-2.
Boy, he's got a nice one, doesn't he, Ryan, the right-hand hitter?
He starts it off the plate almost.
And he hasn't missed over the middle with it. If he's missed away.
Struck out David Wright on that pitch in the 4th inning with 2 in scoring position. Well, as they did the last time with Santos, they've got the center fielder and the right fielder bunched, and a huge gap at left center.
Remember, his biggest hit so far of the Mets was the left center field grand slam home run.
Oh, 0-2 to Santos. Breaking ball hit to left. Over toward the line goes Anderson. And he's there to grab it for the first out. So 1 out and 1 on. Jair Jurgens last year at the age of 22 established himself as a top of the rotation pitcher for the Braves. 3rd in the Rookie of the Year balloting that was won by Giovanni Soto of the Cubs. But Jurgens off to a fine start in his sophomore season. Now Ryan Church, the forgotten man. Church has been struggling big time, and so he's been seeing more and more bench of late. 4 hits in his last 35 at bats. And he takes a low, ball 1. Jerry Manuel, speaking of Church today, said the upcoming road trip will be huge for Ryan. He said, especially if Delgado goes on the DL, he says, we need Church. We need his power. Even though he's really not that kind of hitter. 1-1 to Church.
Boy, San Francisco's a tough place to be a power hitter for a left-hander. It plays pretty deep, doesn't it?
It does play deep. It's one of the bigger ballparks in the National League, that's for sure. Ryan, you see the infield there, double play depth. Pretty much straight up. Frank Core, I would think, should just move back a couple steps, don't you think?
Yes.
Yes. I mean, really, that's extraordinarily shallow for a guy like Church.
Well, you think the whole key is that if you play deeper, then the ball in front of you is just a base hit. But anything over his head now you got second and third to run in.
Exactly right. Keep the ball in front of you.
This will be Jurgens' 100th pitch of the night. Meanwhile, in the Mets bullpen, K-Rod getting ready. And Church lays off, and now it's 3-1. If Church can get on, then Reyes would come to bat as the tying run.
Well, he's in a hitter's count now. Going to get a fastball. 3-run lead. He's not going to beat you with a long ball. It's a good pitch to hit.
Jurgens has walked only one tonight. And Church goes the other way. In comes Anderson, and he can't catch it. Anderson was very indecisive coming in on that ball. Tried for the shoestring catch, but Church winds up with a base hit.
Well, he could have dove for that ball, you think, and made the play. He's all legs, you can see. Not for lack of effort.
So the Mets with a couple of hits here in the 8th by Reed and Church. And now Reyes comes to the plate as the tying run. Jose 0 for 6 in this series. Bobby Cox leaving his young starter out there. And Reyes drives one to left center field. Chasing toward the gap, Schaefer. He won't get there. It rolls to the wall. Reed scores. Church right behind him. Church scores. Reyes trying for third. The relay will get him. And Reyes carrying the tying run is out at third base, trying to stretch a double into a triple. The Mets get 2 runs on the play to cut the Braves lead to 3-2, but Reyes got a little greedy.
Well, the play's in front of Jose here, too. First ball, fastball hitting. And everybody's going to score easily here. Reed, particularly the lead runner. Church beautifully reads it nice. But Reyes makes the mistake. Now, the play's in front of Jose.
I think for me, he decided, didn't even look up at the play.
Not even looking. You can't do that. You've got to know the situation.
Yeah, he premeditated as far as thinking about going to third base and out pretty easily.
And there's a case of the Braves. Fundies.
Second outfield assist of the night for Jordan Schaefer, who played that ball off the fence in left center. Schaefer, who threw out a runner at the plate in the last inning, picks up another assist here in the 8th. Pitching change for the Braves. Peter Moylan coming on. Lincoln Mercury called to the bullpen. It's now a 1-run game. Side armor comes on to try and get the final out in the bottom of the 8th.
Well, he got an out in last night's game to get his 5th hold. You see his numbers there. The ERA is high, but like most of this Atlanta Braves bullpen, a lot of that was done early, and they've been much better in their last 19 games.
Alex Cora bats with 2 out and nobody on. Jose Reyes with a 2-run double to get the Mets within a run, but Reyes thrown out easily at third base, trying to stretch it into a triple. Cora 1 for 3 on the night, singled back in the 4th inning. Jair Jurgens winds up going 7 2/3. He allowed 2 runs and 7 hits, walked 1, struck out 4, threw a wild pitch. 102 pitches for Jurgens, who stands to get his 4th win against 2 losses if the Braves bullpen can get 4 outs. 2-0 to Cora, but they're going to have to go through the heart of the Mets batting order to do that.
talking about this Braves bullpen. They had an ERA of 7.75 at April 18th. Since then, 21 games. ERA is 1.84.
And Cora takes inside, ball 3. Well, Moylan buying himself some trouble with Murphy and Beltran waiting. Cora will be taking all the way. And it's ball 4. So Moylan comes in and walks Cora on 4 pitches, and now the Mets have that tying run back on base. And Daniel Murphy coming up. Last night the Braves bullpen worked 2 1/3. Moylan got 1 out. Soriano pitched an inning, and Carlisle pitched the 9th and gave up a run. Now Bobby Cox on his way out. You got the left-hand hitter Murphy up. You got the left-hander O'Flaherty, or was it Gonzalez, up in the bullpen. And they'll go to the lefty here to face Murphy, and we'll see whether Sheffield gets a call in this spot. 3-2 Atlanta, 8th inning. Back in a moment. I guess not. Your tickets now. Mets faced Eric O'Flaherty in both games in Atlanta last week.
Well, he's in the game because he's retired 13 of the 15 first batters faced, and he has been unscored upon in his last 11 appearances.
Well, they brought in the lefty to face Murphy, and Jerry Manuel will respond by sending Gary Sheffield up to bat for Murphy.
And that is the gamble that Bobby Cox took there, and that really on the bench, if you look at the bench, the only real power hitter Delgado can't hit. The lone power hitter on Jerry Manuel's bench is Sheffield.
Well, Bobby managed Sheffield for 2 years. He knows what he's capable of.
Well, very interesting, though, right? A decision by Jerry Manuel last night to not have a confrontation with Garrett Anderson, and here Bobby Cox has opted to pitch to Gary Sheffield instead of Murphy by bringing in the left-hander.
Here's the other thing. How often do you hit for your number 3 hitter?
Yeah.
Murphy hitting third tonight, but Murphy 0 for 3 tonight, 1 for his last 18, and that certainly makes that decision easier. And Sheffield takes a strike from O'Flaherty, who started him off soft.
Well, I like this play. This is a chance that's late in the game that you have a power hitter up that can put you out in front.
Tying run at first with Cora with 2 out. Mets have scored twice here in the 8th. Sheffield can't stop the swing, and it's 0-2.
Well, 2 straight changeups, Ronnie. This one out of the strike. Oh, sinking. Full Sheffield.
So now Sheffield finds himself in a hole. They'll be keeping everything away from him. And again, this one bounced down to first, and Kochman goes high, but it is a fair ball. Sheffield thought for sure it was foul. So did the first base coach, Luis Alicea. But the home plate umpire, Andy Fletcher, said fair ball. Reyes' two-run double gives the Mets a couple of runs, but Reyes out at third, and that cost them a chance for more. We go to the ninth, 3-2 Atlanta. On the base paths for the Mets tonight. Wright thrown out at second. Wright thrown out at the plate. Cora out on a force at second. Reyes out at third trying to stretch. We'll hear about all of that from Jerry Manuel and the players. Kevin Burkhardt will be in the clubhouse. Lincoln Mercury post-game live. Defensive changes. Jeremy Reed moves over to left. Church stays in at right. And Francisco Rodriguez, who hasn't pitched in 4 days, takes the mound and gets ahead of Jordan Schaefer, 0-1.
K-Rod is tied with Frank Francisco, Ryan Franklin, Francisco Cordero, and Brian Fuentes with those 9 saves.
Schaefer 0 for 2 and a walk, 0 for 6 in the series. But he has had a big factor in this game, and now he has himself a base hit. So Schaefer, who has distinguished himself with his defense tonight, now has his first hit of the series. And Omar Infante comes out of the dugout. And he will come up as a pinch hitter.
Isn't it interesting, guys? We watched Schaefer come into the series, and we look at his stats and all his strikeouts, and boy, this kid is getting overmatched, but he's helping them win games. You can tell how he's doing it. With his glove, with his legs. Here, leadoff single.
See how the Braves decide to play this. Infante, a good bunter, but he's also been hot with the bat. He's hitting .338 on the year.
Schaefer, a guy who can steal a base, too.
Wright comes in at third. Tatis holding the runner at first. Mike Gonzalez, the Braves closer, getting ready. As the Mets closer, Francisco Rodriguez, tries to hold the Braves at bay. And Infante gets the bunt down. K-Rod puts on the tag, and the sacrifice successful, moving Schaefer to second. One unassisted. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by IOTV. Get the best in HD free with IOTV. By Honda. By Citi. By AT&T. By Lexus. And by StubHub. Now Kelly Johnson, who's gone 0 for 4 tonight and been struck out looking twice. Once by Pelfrey and once by Putz. Pelfrey's on the hook in this game, but it's the run that Putz allowed in the 8th inning that's the difference right now. Pelfrey went 7 innings, allowed 2 runs and 6 hits. Was pulled after just 96 pitches in favor of Putz, who gave up a couple of doubles. And the Braves played it a run in the 8th to go up 3-0. Reyes' 2-run double cut it to 3-2. Yunel Escobar, who has doubled each of his last 2 at-bats, is on deck. And Johnson pops it up. Reyes retreating. that's the second out. So two-away. And now Escobar, who doubled down the left field line in the 6th, doubled to the right field line in the 8th. Probably should have had a triple, but decided to break it down. No matter, he wound up scoring that run that is the difference in the game. And Escobar takes ball 1. Braves have really struggled in one-run games. Remember they had that long stretch of one-run games on the road?
Yes.
It's like 25 or something like that, right?
I think they snapped that against the Mets, didn't they?
Yes.
I believe they did.
2-0 to Escobar. Well, this year the Braves are 4-5 in one-run games. The Mets are 6-6.
Good pitch to hit here for Escobar. You got Chipper Jones in the on-deck circle giving you great protection.
We've seen, though, from Rodriguez, when he gets behind, he's not afraid to throw that slider or changeup.
2-0 breaking ball. And now he's behind 3-0 with Chipper Jones looming on deck. Essential that K-Rod keep this a one-run game. There's a strike. You got Beltran and Wright and Tatis due up for the Mets at the bottom of the ninth. Schaefer with good speed at second with 2 out. 3-1 to Escobar. Breaking ball in for a strike. That's a nasty pitch. 3-2.
It hurts your neck when you get a pitch like that if you're the hitter. What is he thinking right there after that 3-run breaking pitch?
Got to protect the plate now.
Bounce toward third, right on the backhand, has a long throw to make on a hop. Tatis able to secure it, and the inning is over. Similar play to the one that resulted in an error in the first inning last night. This time, Wright and Tatis make the play, and now, in a one-run game, the Mets allow the big bats, Beltran and Wright, will get a chance to bring the Mets from behind in the last of the ninth, with the Braves up 3-2.
bottom of the ninth. The Mets have yet to win a game this year where they've trailed going into the ninth inning. They've got the right hitters up in the bottom of the ninth. Beltran, Wright, and Tatis against the Atlanta closer, Mike Gonzalez.
Well, he's 5 for 6 in save opportunities. Is Gonzalez, who's been used not only as the closer, but Gary was talking about before in Philadelphia on this road trip. He was used in the 8th inning because of Utley, Howard, and Ibanez.
And you're wondering why Bobby Cox is bringing him in with a switch hitter and 2 right-handers. You saw that right-hander's batting average against Gonzalez under 200.
Beltran's just 1 for 7 against Gonzalez, who throws a strike. And if you'll remember back to the great Braves-Mets rivalries of the late 90s, they had John Rocker, the left-hander. Well, now they've got the Gonzo Rocker. Look at that.
Ooh, good pitch.
It was only a 2-strike count on Beltran.
It's honestly toned down a little from last year. Last year, there's about 3 circles and a dive. Now, good cutter.
0-2. And Beltran rifles one down the left field line. That's an extra base hit going to the corner. Carlos Beltran with a leadoff double, and the Mets have the tying run in scoring position with nobody out.
Boy, you work so hard as a pitcher to get ahead, and then 0-2,
hang it,
throw a ball right over the middle.
And you 0-2 too, the pitch to waste.
People always talk about being able to throw a breaking ball for strikes. You have to be able to control it and throw for balls occasionally too.
Tying run at second, nobody out. Keith, what's Wright's approach now?
Well, David's going to try to go the opposite field here, but aggressively, Gare, to drive it in.
Swing and a miss at the fastball. David is singled to left and tripled to right tonight, 2 for 3. Already has 3 triples on the season.
I'll tell you, if he gets one of those low sliders he threw to Beltran, the game might be over.
Gonzalez working quickly. And Wright takes it low.
Looks like Gonzalez thinks he's worried about Beltran there, maybe relaying some signs or location to Wright.
Tatis on deck. David is 3 for 4 against Gonzalez, and he takes high and tight 2-1. Gonzalez really pitching in a hurry.
Really quick.
Don't see this very often from a closer.
I'd step out on him.
2-1. And that misses low and inside with a slider. It's 3-1. Wright representing the potential winning run, and Gonzalez in danger of putting him on. 3-1 to Wright. Popped it up. Kochman down the line. Does he have enough room? Kochman staggers and makes the catch, and Beltran holding at second base. A big first out for Mike Gonzalez.
Boy, that was an adventure right there. But Kochman does the right thing. He finds out where the wall is and then makes the adjustment. And that ball boy's got to get out of there a lot quicker.
I like that he didn't take anything for granted here. Got that ball back in.
So David can't get him in, can't get him over. Beltran still at second with 1 out, and now Fernando Tatis. Tatis, who had so many big late inning hits for the Mets last year. 0 for 3 today. And McCann out to the mound to talk to Gonzalez.
And Kelly Johnson is going to have to hold Carlos Beltran very close at second base.
That's looking for their first win this year when trailing after 8. Looked promising with the leadoff double to Beltran, but Wright unable to move him.
And Luis Castillo is getting out in the on-deck circle.
Go back for Jeremy Reed. Now Tatis. And he takes the fastball for a strike. 94 from Gonzalez.
He threw that one. That was his best fastball of the night. And you can see Kelly Johnson very, very close to Beltran at second.
Carlos loves to steal third. It would be a great spot to do it if he could pull it off.
He's going. McCann's throw. Not in time. Beltran steals third. So now the tying run at third with 1 out.
Well, you've just got to pay a little more attention to Beltran in this situation. That's close.
Good slide here.
He could have been called out.
Ball beat him, but he got the hand to the back of the bag.
That's as close as it. Oh boy, I thought he was out.
McCann thought he had him, but Greg Gibson said no. Now the infield comes in. It's 0-2 to Tatis, who's got to put the ball in play. Grounded foul.
Well, listen, we talk about the stolen base all the time. Have to be lauded when you can steal a base when you're supposed to. Have to.
Yeah, you can see Chipper saying, I got him.
Knock on Beltran is that he's been a safety first base stealer. He wasn't there. He steals it in a huge spot. Now Tatis trying to stay in the at-bat. It's 0-2.
It hit him. And Tatis will go to first base, and the potential winning run is aboard.
There's your Coors Light freeze cam on the play at third on Beltran. Wow.
He's out.
So now Beltran at third. Tatis, after being hit by the pitch, slowly to first base. And now Luis Castillo batting for Jeremy Reed, and everybody in the ballpark has to be alive to the possibility of a squeeze play.
So they're going to play almost halfway, a little less than halfway in the middle infielders, in at the corners. And if you're going to squeeze here, the bunt down the first base line with the first baseman holding the runner on is an automatic.
Castillo 0 for 5 in his career against Gonzalez, and he swings and misses. A rare first pitch swing for Castillo, 0-1.
Well, Keith, he must be from that school. When you're coming off the bench to pinch hit, you don't get the pitcher a strike. Be aggressive.
Johnson and Escobar halfway at second and short. Gonzalez misses inside, 1-1 to Castillo.
Middle infielders move back now. They're at double play depth.
Omir Santos would be next. Castillo trying to get Beltran in from third with the tying run. Slashes one foul. Waited on that ball. Now he's behind in the count, 1-2.
Well, Gonzalez has been ahead of every hitter and has been unable to put him away.
Castillo has not done a whole lot of pinch hitting in his career.
He threw that fastball by Castillo. You'd think that come back with it upstairs. The slider would really speed up Louis' bat.
1-2. Fouled away. Castillo is 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter this year, and in his entire 11-year career, just 5 for 21. Not something he's been called upon to do much.
Well, we've seen the arm of Schaefer in center field. Front court and right field might have one of the best arms in the game. Fly ball to either of those outfielders, and not too deep will be an interesting play at home plate.
1-2 to Castillo. Lifted to left. Anderson is there. Beltran is tagging. Beltran heads home. The throw goes to second, and the game is tied. Sacrifice fly for Luis Castillo. Drives home the tying run, and we're even 3-3.
Well, nice at bat by Louis. Oh, he really opened up on that slider in and stayed flat. And Anderson, not the strongest of arms, opts just to throw to second base, and that is a huge stolen base from that man crossing home plate. And a huge pinch hit, sacrifice fly from Luis Castillo.
Now Santos with the potential winning run at first and 2 out.
And how do you lead a team? You lead off against a closer with a double. You steal third base and score the tying run. Those are good things there by Beltran.
Lone save for Mike Gonzalez, his second of the year.
There goes the runner. He picks him off. Kochman's throw out at second. Tatis, and we are going to extra innings. So Tatis running on first movement, and Gonzalez got him. 1-3-4. The Mets get even on the Castillo sac fly. We head to the 10th. Chipper Jones leading off in a 3-3 game.
Gonzalez suffers his second blown save in 7 tries. Not pleased. Alex Cora moves over to first base. First time he'll play there as a Met, and Luis Castillo, who had the tying sacrifice fly, stays in at second. And Francisco Rodriguez, for the first time as a Met, will be asked to go a second inning. Remember that he famously in the WBC got a couple of more than 1 inning saves.
2 4-out saves, I believe, right?
Cora not pleased with his first baseman's mitt there. Interesting, because we just had this conversation with Jerry Manuel today about Cora at first base, and Jerry said he had never seen him there. Cora's only played 1 game in his career in the regular season at first base. And he is going to go with something that is not a first baseman's glove.
He is going with a regular glove, an infielder's mitt.
I don't think I've ever seen that, Keith, have you?
Nope.
Chipper Jones leads off in the 10th inning, the Mets' second extra inning game of the season. The first one ended in Philadelphia on a bases-loaded walk by Sean Green. The Braves also playing their second extra inning game. They beat the Nationals in 10 innings back on April 10th. Chipper 1 for 3 and an intentional walk at a 410-foot fly ball that was caught back in the 6th. And K-Rod gets even 1-1. It's been quite a ball game.
These are the kind of games for your team that can build those wonderful building blocks of a season, where you down and out facing the closer for the other team, you tie the game up, and you have a chance to get a well-earned win.
Mets were down 3-0 going to the bottom of the 8th in this game. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
Particularly when it's a come from behind victory, if the Mets wind up winning this one. But also, you've got a day game tomorrow as Chipper gets beat there on a fastball. It's always important. The team that with a day game the next day that wins an extra inning ball game gets the lift.
Jeff Bennett, Rafael Soriano up in the Braves bullpen, and Chipper goes down and lines one into center field, a base hit. Great job of hitting there by Chipper, his second hit of the night.
Well, that's why he is who he is and has had the career. That is a pitcher's pitch, Ronnie. You saw the late sink on that changeup, and Chipper just kept his hands back. What are you going to do? You tip your hat.
So for the second straight inning, the Braves have a leadoff hit against Francisco Rodriguez. K-Rod was able to get out of trouble in the top of the 9th. The Mets then able to tie it in the bottom of the 9th. Now Garrett Anderson up for the 5th time. Anderson 1 for 3 and a sacrifice fly. Former Angel teammates squaring off. K-Rod against Anderson. And there's the breaking ball for a strike. First time since 2007 that Francisco Rodriguez has been asked to go more than 1 inning in a regular season game. As we mentioned, he did it a couple of times in the World Baseball Classic. Fastball misses to Anderson, 1-1.
Well, other than spring training, Garrett Anderson has never faced Francisco Rodriguez. McCann having his usual great game.
Chipper not the base runner he once was. Has not stolen a base this year. Good fastball, and it's 1-2 to Anderson.
Fastball knee high outside corner. Good cut.
1-2. In the air to right field, and Ryan Church comes in. And Anderson retired, 1 away. Chipper back to first. That'll bring up Brian McCann, who is 3 for 4 tonight, and drove in a run with an opposite field double his last time up in the 8th against J.J. Putz.
His glasses are the right prescription.
I guess so. Since coming back, he's played 5 games now, McCann. He's got 9 hits in 20 at-bats. Been wearing glasses all along. 1 out and 1 on, 10th inning, 3-3 game. And McCann hooks one down the right field line, back toward the pole, near the corner, it goes foul. Into the foul section of the Pepsi porch. You know, one thing we noticed when we first came to Citi Field is how low those foul poles are. They don't go up very high. And if you hit one too high, it's going to cause a problem for the umpires. That one was easy to read.
There's a youngster right there.
Jordan Schaefer, just 22.
Imagine if Dave Kingman played here. It'd be the most difficult calls of all time.
But really, those foul poles are so much shorter than they were at Shea. I mean, you figure at Shea they went up to the bottom of the upper deck. Here they barely reached the bottom of the promenade, which is about 30 feet lower. Oh, 0-1 to McCann. Chipper takes off. The pitch, a ball. Santos' throw is too late. And Chipper Jones has his first stolen base of the year. A big one for Chipper.
And he picked the perfect pitch to steal on. The changeup. A tough pitch to throw for Santos. And a great jump by Chipper. Doing much what... There you go. You can sneak it.
Well, great instincts for the game. What are you thinking about as a pitcher when someone's just pulled you foul for a home run? You concentration goes right on the hitter. And sometimes you forget about that base runner.
Now Dan Warthen out to the mound to discuss what to do with McCann here. It's a 1-1 count, first base open, and Kochman on deck. Would you consider walking McCann here or just pitching carefully?
Well, Francisco Rodriguez has the kind of stuff when he is throwing it right, it doesn't really matter who's up. Now, if he hangs a pitch, that can happen. But when he's got that good changeup and those three pitches, the three weapons, I think that you'll be careful and you try to make your pitches.
And Jerry says walk him.
Well, 324 lifetime batting average for McCann with runners in scoring position.
So McCann will be on base for the 4th time tonight. This is the 3rd intentional walk that the Mets have issued. And so Kochman, who's been a hot hitter, will get the opportunity with 2 men on.
I don't have a complaint with this call at all. It's just too good a hitter here with a runner in scoring position.
He also set up the double play.
So McCann down to first base. And now Kochman will step in. We mentioned that K-Rod has not worked more than 1 inning in a game since 2007. The last 2 times that he worked a 2nd inning for the Angels, he gave up a run, which is probably why Mike Scioscia stopped using him in those situations. We'll see if he can survive here in the 10th inning in his 2nd inning tonight.
Kochman got the big blow last night.
Facing another ex-teammate is Rodriguez.
The parade of former Angels. And Kochman lifts one to left, chasing Reed back a couple of strides. Or Tatis, excuse me. And that's the 2nd out. Tatis moved from first base to left field in the last inning.
It was interesting. Frankie Rodriguez coming out back to the mound, gets the ball from Reyes and lets all his infielders know. Hit the dirt on a ground ball. Make sure you keep it in the infield. Interesting. You don't usually see that from a pitcher.
So now Jeff Francoeur, who's gone 0 for 4 today, a strikeout and 3 ground balls, 1 for 8 in this series. 2 on and 2 out. And he hits it in the air to right. Church is right there waiting for it. Side retired. 3 fly balls help get Francisco Rodriguez through his 2nd inning of work. Now the Mets will try and walk off in the bottom of the 10th. for Atlanta.
Well, Bennett was unscored upon 8 consecutive times until his last outing against Philadelphia Phillies. 2 runs in an inning of work.
He's got some numbers up there that just don't make any sense. 23 hits in 13 2/3 innings, but a 1.98 ERA. That means you're giving up somebody else's runs. Well, Carlos Delgado not available tonight, and that means the only man left on the Mets bench among position players is Ramon Castro. That will come into play because the pitchers due up 5th in this inning. Pitcher sitting in the 3-hole right now for the Mets. It's 8, 9, and 1. Santos, then Church, then Reyes against Bennett in the bottom of the 10th. Santos 0 for 2 and a walk. Flied out his last time up. And Omer hits one in the air to right center. Frank Kerr going back. He's there. And that's the first out. So 1 pitch, 1 retired. And now Church comes up for the second time. Ryan appeared as a pinch hitter in the 8th inning. Singled in front of the shoestring attempt by Garrett Anderson in left field and then scored a run. Bobby Parnell getting ready to pitch the 11th if there is one. As Church takes low ball 1. Ryan with 1 home run this season. Just trying to fight his way out of the doldrums and fight his way out of the dugout. Right back to Bennett. Sharply hit but handled. 2 out.
Aren't those pitchers supposed to follow through, RJ?
So 2 up and 2 quickly set aside.
Well, this is a bullet right up the middle.
He only makes that play because he was in decent fielding position, Jeff Bennett.
So now Reyes bats with 2 out and nobody on. Reyes came up in the 8th inning with 2 on and 1 out. Drove one to the gap in left center. Drove home both runners, but was thrown out trying to stretch a double into a triple. Now he comes up with 2 out and nobody on in the 10th. And Bennett misses low and inside.
When you're a hitter like Reyes, you just got to think to yourself, get on base somehow, some way, steal a bag in scoring position.
Well, you Garrett Anderson out there in left field. He's just playing Jose like an opposite field hitter. There's a huge gap in left center field. Reyes found it earlier with a 2 RBI double back in the 8th.
And with Frank Kerr playing shallow and off the line and right, if Reyes pulls anything, he's got an easy triple.
I've always believed in bunching and gapping hitters.
Past the mound, Johnson to his right, backhand stop, but no chance to throw out Reyes. It's fortunate that Kochman saved that ball from going to the dugout. So Reyes has an infield hit, and the Mets have the potential winning run aboard in the 10th.
Well, nice play by Johnson, but he had no shot with Reyes' speed. You can forget about it. And Jose, that left side, gets down that line. Gonna try to steal a base.
Well, if he does steal one, you've got Cora, the left-hand hitter, at the plate, and Castro on deck to hit for the pitcher. So that would be the decision the Braves would have to make. Cora 1 for 3 and a walk today. Reyes with 10 steals on the year, tied for the league lead, and Bennett almost threw it away. Reyes with more stolen bases with Brian McCann behind the plate than any other catcher. Bennett might want to lighten up on his next toss. Comes to the plate and misses high to Cora. So he missed high to first base and he missed high to the plate.
Cora's the kind of, see Castro on deck, Cora's the kind of hitter that he's patient up there. He will give Jose a chance to steal.
Very heady player, understands the situation.
A couple of things that Jose's got to concentrate on here. Really, that front shoulder of Jeff Bennett when he proceeds to the plate, and that back knee.
Time asked for.
One thing a right-hander has to do when he throws to first base, he has to lift that right foot that's on the rubber. He has to step back. As Ronnie says, he has to do that. He has to bend that knee. So that's your key.
And Cora takes high, and now it's 2-0. So Bennett very concerned about Reyes and perhaps losing a little focus on the plate.
The only thing they have here is a 2-0 situation. He's going to be throwing fastball, so he's not going to get a breaking pitch, which makes it a little easier to steal on.
Up one stolen base tonight, and it was a huge one. Beltran stole third with one out in the ninth and came home with the tying run on a sac fly by Castillo.
There goes Reyes. The pitch is strike. McCann's throw is high, and Reyes slides in under the tag. So Reyes brings the winning run to second base, his 11th steal of the year.
Well, throws a little high. And it would have taken a perfect throw to get Jose, and I think he had it anyway. And the Mets are a hit away from stealing themselves a ball game, literally. He would have been safe no matter what.
Now they're going to walk Corey intentionally behind in the count 2-1, and they'll face Castro instead. And it'll be up to Ramon to try and get Reyes in with the winning run.
Not only do you have the righty-righty matchup, but I think Bobby loves getting someone that's cold off the bench in the game.
So the intentional walk to Cora, who's on base for the third time tonight. Castro in his career has done a very nice job as a pinch hitter. 68 career at bats as a pinch hitter. He's hitting .265 with 3 pinch hit home runs. This is his first at bat as a pinch hitter this season. Castro, the last available position player for Jerry Manuel, with Delgado not available.
2 on, 2 out, last of the 10th. Mets 3, Braves 3. And Castro takes high, ball 1.
Johnson up that middle again, Keith.
Well, I tell you what, Jose wants to steal third. Let him have it. You want to cover defense here. There's 2 outs.
Big hole on that right side. In tight to Castro, 2-0. A walk would fill the bases and bring Beltran to the plate.
That'll get the crowd going.
Time asked for. Castro tired of waiting for Bennett, who is very focused still on Reyes at second base.
If you're throwing here, you don't even pay a lot of mind to Reyes. The only thing you want is just give him a couple of looks, because you don't want him to get too big of a secondary lead.
Ball 3. He's a pitch away from pushing Reyes to third on his own. Hit sign?
No. Definitely not.
That's your best player on deck.
No, definitely not.
And he takes a strike, 3-1. Hit sign?
Yes.
Yes. Sounded like Hawk Harrelson.
Only if he puts it on the board.
3-1 to Castro. And he walked him. And Beltran will come up when the bases loaded. An infield hit, a stolen base, an intentional walk, and an unintentional walk. All after 2 out and nobody on. And now Beltran will come to the plate with a chance to win it. And Mike Pelfrey, who pitched 7 terrific innings tonight, is back out there on the bench to observe.
I don't know about you guys, but the theme of this year for Beltran is when he gets in these situations, he has been much more aggressive than he's been in the past.
I just can't believe he threw a 3-1 changeup to Castro with that man right there in the on-deck circle.
Beltran has 2 hits and 6 career at-bats against Bennett, and he's 2 for 4 tonight, a single and a double.
Well, as a hitter, Gary, you say, okay, on first ball, fastball hitting, If he throws me a get me over breaking ball, it's good to hit, jump on it, but don't let him get ahead with a fastball. You got the pressure's on the pitcher.
Francoeur is still shallow in right field. Whoa.
Bases loaded, 2 down, bottom of the 10th. Reyes faking down the line. And Beltran takes high, ball 1. Bennett having trouble with the strike zone. Reyes, the only man that matters at third base. Ball 2.
This has been
taking all the way.
This has been a constant theme in baseball all around the league. Walks with the bases loaded.
1-0 changeup.
Well, Beltran in a great spot here. He knows he's going to get something down the middle, but he was taking all the way on 1-0. Maybe the same on 2-0. And that's a strike, 2-1. So now Beltran can get to hit him. Journeyman right-hander Jeff Bennett trying to hold the fort for the Braves in the 10th. Low, ball 3. And now Bennett 1 pitch away from forcing in the winning run. Mets have 1 walk-off win this year against Milwaukee. It came on a Castillo infield hit. Castillo tonight tied the game in the 9th. There's a strike. And now the merry-go-round will be in motion. All 3 runners will be on their way with 3 and 2 and 2 down. Ball 4, and the Mets win it! The Mets win it in a walk-off walk.